Peace and blessings, family. Peace and blessings. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Come on in. Come on in. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. You know, we got the 7-day fruit and salad challenge that's coming up. And I definitely want to talk about it with you guys to see if those of you that are actively participating in the challenge are, you know, just getting your fruits and your salads and all your produce together. That way, when the challenge starts on Monday, we're all able to dive right in and just challenge ourselves to applying more whole foods to our diet and just eating healthier and eating with more intentions to help combat some of these blood pressure issues that we're dealing with. So today's going to be a pretty interesting live. I spent my morning going to a few places, gathering some fresh produce for this upcoming week. And I want to go over my fruit and I want to go over my produce haul. That way you guys can kind of see what my choices were, the reason why I got them, and hopefully I can inspire a few people to actually go and do the same, pick up these different items. That way, you know, they can start applying more of these whole foods to their diet to help with any blood pressure issues. Because one thing about it is that, you know, the way to correcting any type of mineral deficiency that could be fueling the blood pressure problem is by eating whole foods. And that's what this 7-day fruit and salad challenge is all about. Understanding where these different minerals come from, such as the potassium, the magnesium, the calcium, the zinc, you know, all these different things that are critical for blood pressure health. You know, these all come inside of whole foods. And getting more fresh fruits and vegetables is going to be one of the best ways to actually get those minerals. So today, I got a special brother that I'm going to bring on with for this live. That way you guys can kind of understand more about whole foods from another perspective, not just mine. He's someone that's been on a raw diet for, I think, I'm not exactly sure how long his journey's been, but it's been a while. And, you know, he's been a big inspiration to me for quite some time. I've been locked in with this brother for like the last 3-4 years, and just really just understanding his journey and the things that he's doing has also influenced me with a lot of different things that I have going on. But most importantly, you know, it's all about understanding your own personal journey and picking up the pieces to the puzzles to help you actually just understand more about what you're dealing with and start just moving down the right path to get where you need to be. So with that being said, I'm gonna actually move over to my kitchen. That way I could be a little bit more comfortable, show you guys some of the things that I picked up and kind of just guide you through this whole process of the fruits and the produce for your fruit and salad challenge. Because the main thing is, when you do start something like this can be new to a lot of people. And the last thing you want to do is get too deep in and not really be able to handle it. Because a lot of people go out and buy all these great fruits and produce and all these things, but they end up wasting a lot of it because they're over purchasing. They're not storing it properly. And then, you know, the last thing you want to do is waste time and money on food, especially when you're doing something like a challenge and you're trying to get yourself moving in the right direction. So we're going to talk about properly storing things, putting in the right place, better understanding, you know, where things should be at, and just all that stuff like that. So I'm going to move into my kitchen right now and kind of show you guys how I have this little system set up. Now, don't judge me too much, or don't even use me as a basic standard, because this is how I eat and how I live pretty much consistently. And you're going to see a lot of different things, a lot of fresh fruits, a lot of produce, a lot of different things, how I strategically put them. And the thing is, my diet has always been like a high raw diet. And I want to say 80-90% of the foods that I eat are all fresh, raw foods, fruits and produce, nuts and seeds and things like that. So that's kind of my approach to my dietary habits. But for those of us that are participating in this challenge, or for those of us that want to learn more about eating more raw foods or adding more whole foods to their diet, you could just pick some of these different nuggets out of here and just be able to just gather what you can and implement some of these tactics and strategies to help you along the way. That way, as you move forward through this journey, you can continue to be comfortable with how you're moving. So, I guess I'm gonna start in. I'll start right here in my refrigerator. Actually, now I did clean the refrigerator, so it don't look like this all the time. But I did clean it up, and I'll break down and explain to you why it looks like this. Because It's a method to the madness that I have going on right here. So I'm down here in the refrigerator, and as you can see, it's a lot. Let me get a good angle. Oh, okay, here we go. So I'm down in the refrigerator, and as you can see, it's a lot of fresh produce. I want to say about 95% of the refrigerator is all fresh produce, and I got it laid out in a certain method, mainly because I have children, and my children love to have easy access, and I prefer for them to have easy access to actually get to everything that's inside there. So every time we go grocery shopping, I take everything out of its containers and I put it inside of bowls. That way they can easily access everything that's in there. So as you can see, we got some carrots, blackberries, blueberries, tomatoes, cucumbers, strawberries, and some celery in the back. And this is all easily accessible to them. All they really have to do is go inside of the little bottom cabinet over here, grab a little bowl, come and pick out whatever they need, and they kind of like self-serve themselves. It's like an open bar inside here. So when you do it like this, it takes a lot of pressure off of me as a parent. That way they can come and help themselves. They can see what's there. And then one thing about it as well, stuff doesn't get lost in the mix. Like how many times have we like had a pack of blueberries that just got stuck in the back somewhere, and then by the time you get to it, it looked like it got snow all over it because the mold just grew on it and you totally forgot about it. But laying things out so you can see it and have a visual of it, it's going to keep you from wasting these items. It's going to help you visualize and see what's good, what's bad, what's going low. And it's going to help you better manage this whole process. But one thing I do say I love the most about it, my kids don't have to bother me about food. They just come in the refrigerator, grab a bowl, and they just kind of help themselves to whatever they see in there. And as you can see, all these things up top, these are usually like little toppings for salads or just like fresh berries and things like that. You know, the blueberries and the strawberries and the blackberries, all are high in antioxidants. Those are great for blood pressure when it comes to dealing with free radicals that's causing damage to your blood vessels. So having a nice variety of things is always going to be great. And one thing that you can see as well, there's a lot of colors inside here. And it's when you think about the colors, one thing that should come to mind is that all the different colors of fruits means different vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that are all beneficial for your overall health. So understanding that the more colors and the more variety of things that you add to your diet, the more vitamins and the more minerals and nutrients that your body's going to get. And this is going to help you with your overall health and not just your blood pressure. So I always keep it all laid out just like this. That way they can see exactly what's going on. They be able to pick and grab. And anytime I open the refrigerator, I can see if, the carrots are low, I need to go buy some more baby carrots. Or if something's looking a little weird, I could just make the adjustment and correct it from there. So taking stuff out of the package is going to be a very, very big thing. Now, sometimes everything might not be able to get out of the package, but basically doing what you need to do to manage it is going to be a good place to start. Now, on the next shelf here, I have my greens and some bell peppers and a few other things that's there. And these are the ones that are not being actively used at the moment. So as I pull this out, you're going to be able to see it's a lot of different greens here. Now, mind you, I eat mostly raw. So for the average individual, this is probably going to be a lot of greens. But I have a few different varieties here. I got 2 varieties of kale that's back here. You guys can see, got one variety here, another there. This is probably I think 2 or 3 stalks. And then on the front side, this is the romaine. The romaine I usually use for like specialty items. I usually make like these raw tacos that I make, and it calls for some romaine. It tastes a lot better with those. But I have a variety of different greens here. And what happens is as I pull greens, I move them to different places, which is down here in this container, and I'll go over that in just a second. But as you can see, I keep all my greens out. That way they are visible. I can manage them a lot better. They're easy to handle. I'm going to slide these right back in. And then as I go to the next one, I got my Swiss chard right here. It's all bundled up. Got some fresh spinach still right there in the pack. And some peppers that just kind of left over that I throw inside there. Now, one thing about it is this, is that whenever I do buy like my greens, I prefer to have them not cut. Reason being, when greens are cut, they go through like this little process. And once they're cut and broken down, they start to, how can I say this? They start to break down a lot faster. Like they're going to go bad a lot faster when they're cut and processed in the bag. Whereas when they're just in their whole state, just separated as they naturally are, they tend to last a little bit longer. And most importantly, when you're dealing with something like kale or stuff like that has those different stems in them, you can actually just pluck it off and remove the stems. Whereas if you buy it in a package, it's all cut up, the stems are all over the place, and it can be really uncomfortable. So preferably, I'd like to get them all in their whole state, just like this Swiss chard here. Buy them in the whole state, and then when I'm ready to process it, I do it myself. Just break it down, remove the stems, and it's a whole lot easier than actually buying something with all the stems all mixed up inside of it. But I always keep the greens separated just like this in a comfortable position. That way, as I'm pulling and going, I can manage it a lot better. Now, what also happens is when I'm ready for a salad, I come right to this container. I don't go straight to the greens. I come to my storage container, and everything inside of here is already prepped up and ready to go, where I just kind of grab a handful, put it in a bowl, mix it up, and do whatever I need to do with it. And that way, as I'm finished this and I run low on the greens that's here, I just pull something from the top side and put it inside here, and it kind of keeps a healthy rotation going. That way I don't lose a count or anything. I don't have to waste time prepping stuff every time I need something. I just got a nice storage container with everything inside of it, just ready to go. And this here will probably last, I kind of lost service a little bit, but that'll probably last about 2 days. And after a day or two, I just go right inside the other one. And then, so then after a couple of days, I go right inside this one. I just rotate and pull stuff in and just cycle it back and forth. So you got to kind of have a system. That way you can actually move through and get things going. So I'm going to invite my guy Josh real quick and see if he could check in, because he just did his own grocery haul, and he picked up a lot of different things. Down here, you can see I got some fresh watermelon, and this is for our day right here. Usually I cut a watermelon like every other day. And right now I got the watermelon already cut. Usually the kids that come and pick off it and grab it. Well, they usually got one out here, but then they'll come and pick off and grab this one, and it comes through the rotation. This will probably be gone by the end of the afternoon. So that's there. Got some grapes down there. And if you probably can see in this bottom drawer, I got some other like animal-based products, but that's solely for my cat. I don't eat any animal-based products myself, or any meats, eggs, or dairies, or anything. But my cat is on a raw diet as well. He eats all raw foods and things like that. And I keep his stuff down at the bottom. Now, as you look, this is where the side of the door that gets really complicated, especially for people that are dealing with blood pressure issues. Because usually on the side door, this is where people keep all the sauces, the ketchup, the mustards, the mayos, the pickles, the relish, all that stuff. Usually people keep in their side doors. But we have to understand, when it comes down to those types of things, that those things are all loaded with your salts, your oils, your sugars, and all the things that are very, very damaging to your health, especially when it comes down to your blood pressure. So understanding that condiments are something that you really got to get control of if you're dealing with blood pressure issues. But as you can see inside there, I don't have any condiments. I usually make my own salad dressings. When it comes down to different sauces, I try to make all those sauces as well. That way I can avoid those different issues like the excess sodium, the excess sugars, and the oils. And when you're dealing with blood pressure issues, you got to understand those different components, because salt, oils, and sugars are three critical parts, or three critical foods that you need to understand where they're coming from, because they have a direct impact on your blood pressure and your overall cardiovascular health. So what else we got? So I'm gonna move over here to my table, and as you can see, there's more watermelon sitting right here. The kids have a free fall. They're in the room somewhere doing whatever, but they usually come out, grab a tray, and then do whatever they need to do and take it with them. So it's always fresh fruit somewhere around, and they have like a little party. So down here, I have a little storage table as well. And this is all open game, free access for anyone that comes in. They can just grab what they need also. Down here, got a basket of apples right here. This is probably my son's favorite thing. He probably eats 6 or 7 apples a day. Like, he goes crazy for apples. But he enjoys apples, and he gets a nice mixture and variety of all those different things. But I keep them in a basket, keep them stored properly. That way, you know, I'm not worried about losing fruits and different vegetables and things like that. And the next basket I got down here, I got some mangoes, and I have peaches. There's 2 different varieties. I got the peaches, the regular peaches, and the white peaches as well. So keeping them in the basket right here, it just continues to give you a visual of what you have. When you keep them inside of a bag that they come in from the grocery store, or you put them inside like the bottom crisper down low, you tend to lose track of them. But keeping them in a place where they're openly visual, this is going to help you in many different ways. So one rule that I like to tell people is this: wherever you buy it from in the grocery store, that's where you should keep it at in your house. If you buy it in the cooler section, keep it in the refrigerator in your house. If you buy it in the dry storage, keep it in the dry storage, keep it in the dry area in your house. That way you can optimize the lifespan of the produce that you're getting and keep it fresh, allow it to finish ripening up the way that you need to, and still save money on the back end. Let me go ahead and add Josh again. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble adding him, but I'll get him in there in a second. Josh, if you're still on, send me another request, because I'm having trouble adding you in though. But so I got the mangoes and the peaches right here. And again, it's the better visualization you have of these things, the more likely you're going to actually be able to utilize them, not waste them, and just capitalize on everything. Then we got some oranges right here. I also have another big box of oranges somewhere around because I like to make fresh orange juice. So we got oranges, and again, everything is all stretched out, visually appealing. That way you can just be able to reach and go. And in this basket, got the avocados here, some bell peppers, all these things. Now, one thing about it, I have bell peppers that I keep inside, and I have bell peppers that I keep outside. The ones that are outside, they end up making their way into the rotation eventually. Reason being, I like crispy bell peppers, and for some reason, when they're nice and cold, they get nice and crisp inside of a salad. They just taste a lot better. But one thing is, I lose track of them when they stay inside. So I end up just using the ones that are there in the refrigerator and then rotating them back out to this. I use them and rotate them. That way I don't lose track of it. But my avocados and my bell peppers, and I think there's some lemons and limes inside there, they're all right there. And then next up, I got the pineapples. I usually keep 2 or 3 of them on deck, and I just kind of rotate them and pull them. My daughter likes the pineapples the most, so I end up cutting them just like I do the watermelon and leaving them inside of the refrigerator. That way she can grab a little cup, help herself move around and things like that. And that way, you can just really just stay in control of all the different things that you have. Now, as you can see, it's a lot of different fruits and vegetables that are here. So, for those of us that are getting involved and adding more fruits and vegetables or whole foods in general to our diet, it's really, really important to understand how to store them and to take care of them, because the last thing you want to do is be wasting money during this process. You don't want to waste your time, and you don't want to waste your money, because taking the time out, going to the store, buying all these things, it can be a lot, and then end up losing it because you didn't store it properly, or you lost track of it and it just got pushed to the back of the refrigerators. Those are going to cause you some more problems at the end of the day. So you just want to make sure that you're doing everything in your power to optimize your ability to just to transition and add more whole foods to your diet. And then, you could just start building and getting better with it. So on this side here, or that box of oranges I said I had is right here. So I usually go to Jetro or the Restaurant Depot and get like big boxes of oranges anytime I want to juice them, or if I go to if I decide to get apples and stuff like that in bulk, I buy them like that so I can juice them. And usually this will last me probably a month or so, depending on what rate I'm actually juicing them. So understanding that there's some options to help you save money in many different ways, but just understanding like, okay, how understanding your usage is going to be very, very important, and just making sure that you're putting them in the right area. Over here, got another big watermelon. I probably cut a watermelon every day, every 2 days. So I try to keep them on hand, especially when it's watermelon season. And that brings me back to another important thing, is that you always want to eat the fresh fruits and vegetables that are in season, mainly because it's going to be a lot cheaper because it's in season. It's going to, the earth is going to produce a whole lot more of these. So whenever you eat the foods that are in season, it's going to always be a lot cheaper for you. And then on top of that, they're going to taste a lot better. They're going to be a lot sweeter. They're going to be a lot more savory, depending on which one it is. They're all going to be a whole lot better when they're in season versus trying to eat something that's out of season. So right now, mangoes, watermelons, all those different type of fruits that bloom in the spring and the summer, is going to be the best things that you actually, there's going to be the best things that you can actually consume when it comes down to just the seasonal items and things like that. So another thing I want to show you guys is, I got another melon there. I want to show you guys my pantry right here. The pantry is junky, so I know I ain't cleaned up in the pantry too often. But the pantry's here, and I got everything kind of like stretched out in different ways. As you can see, let me see if I get a good spot. Everything is in containers, so I can see what's low, what I have plenty of, and I can kind of still manage it. Because a lot of times we buy stuff and we want to use it, but we lose track of it. I'm trying to get a good spot. We lose track of it mainly because it's just thrown all over the place. So in the pantry, I got my dates here, some oats that are here. I got to put these inside of this bag. All my seeds, different nuts, and all these different things that are here. They was labeled, but when you wash the container, the labels tend to come off of it sometimes. But I got everything there laid out so I can just reach and grab. If I wanted to grab some raisins, I just reach and grab the jar. Pour some raisins in a cup or make some trail mix for the kids. And then boom, I got a visual of how much I have. That way, if I'm going to the grocery store, I can just simply just see if I'm low and just grab some more. Same thing like different flax seeds and stuff like that. All of it inside of the container. You can be able to see what it is, what's going on, and you got a visual of what's happening. So instead of just having it all packed up in boxes, stacked on top of each other, organize it in a way where you can actually get to it, understanding what is what. Like if I was to grab this container out right here, it's pretty much organized. It's a can of, it's a bag of white beans here. I think it's a leftover from me filling up this container right there. So, you know, having stuff in a way where you can actually just see it and visualize it. Got some buckwheat here, some more flax seeds back up, and then some polenta and things like that. Having it organized, just make sure you just save money and stay on top of just what you're doing and how you're consuming things. And everything else inside of here is pretty much the same way. Like I got some more dried beans and things like that. And I know exactly what I have, what I'm doing, what I need more of. But if you don't have a visual of it, it gets really hard sometimes. And then up here, I got like some more plastic bags. My mom bought me a chef hat a while ago and stuff like that. And other kind of stuff up there. But the main thing is that you understand what you have going on, be in a better position to actually manage your produce and everything else, and just save money while doing it. So back to the fruit and salad challenge. When it comes down to the fruit and salad challenge, we kick off Monday. So that gives us less than 48 hours to actually get ourselves together and get on board. So for those of us that joined this fruit and salad challenge, basically this weekend, you should be going to the grocery store, picking up the minimum stuff that you need. And then that way you're able to manage for the next 7 days, adding those fruit. Let me see if I'm in. Adding those fruits and adding those fresh greens to your diet. That way, you could actively participate in this challenge and start working on building up those nutrient storages that could be contributing to these blood pressure issues. Now, one thing I want to say is that not everybody blood pressure issue is directly related to a nutrient deficiency, but when it comes down to making lifestyle changes, adding more whole foods to your diet is always going to be a great place to start, because for most people, simply getting the nutrients that they need can help solve a lot of different problems that they're having. And that's what the 7-day fruit and salad challenge is all about. It's all about understanding how to add more whole foods to your diet, and understanding how to also how to add more whole foods to your diet, and also understanding the different vitamins and minerals
There we
that
go.
both play a role into managing blood pressure. Josh, I'm glad you in. You can hear me?
What's up, Chief? Yeah,
Hey, yes,
man.
we was running into a little bit of technical difficulties, man, but I'm
Hey,
glad to
but I'm
have you
here
on.
now, man.
Blessings, man. So yeah, I just did a little overview of my haul that I did today to prepare
Okay.
for the week, especially for my 7-day fruit and salad challenge. But
Beautiful.
also, now I'm aware that you on a nice stretch, a raw stretch for yourself, correct?
Yeah, man. I think today is like day 41, day 42, all raw, 100%, no cooked foods, all plant-based. Let's get
Nice, man.
it, man. Yeah. I came back from Panama, spending, a week with Dr. Aris Latham, godfather of raw ethical gourmet foods, brought him to America. He's been raw. Kellen, he's been raw 47 years, man.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. Like, and he looks good. That's the crazy thing, man. He looks good.
Bro, he dropped us off on the beach and he was like, all right, this is where I jog. I'll be back. And he said, this is where I run. I'll be back in 2 hours. And took off running in the sand. 76 years old.
And that's a testament to just the power of just whole foods in general, man. Because one thing about it, the type of lifestyle we live over here in America, for most people, they just don't eat enough fresh foods. It's as simple as that, fresh whole foods. So understanding that this is a contributing cause to a lot of the chronic issues that we see. And the first step is out with the old bad stuff that's causing you problems and start implementing the more healthier foods, getting back to nature, eating those things that are going to be more beneficial to you, that's going to provide your body with the vitamins, the minerals, the nutrients, and the enzymes and everything that it needs so it can function at its highest level.
Oh, man. I mean, it's amazing. Like what I've been going through just for these last 40 something days, because I've been trying to lock into this for a few years, but then finally it just hit me and it was like, Josh, it ain't nothing to it but to do it. Like, go ahead and lock in. But Kellen, like what I'm experiencing as what Dr. Aris calls the elimination confrontation, where these toxins are eliminating themselves out of the body. It's amazing, man. Like, I think I showed you what was going on with my arm. Like,
Right.
like the pigmentation changed. Like I'm seeing, like I have psoriasis and alopecia, and I'm seeing that stuff, like the flakes and stuff come out, come off, heal themselves. It's amazing, man. Inflammation in the body. Like I do yoga and I walk a whole lot and I lift weights and it's just not there. I don't hardly get sore, man.
Yeah, man. And that's like I say, that's a testament to just your body transitioning to the state that it needs to be in. Because one thing about it, the body always wants to move in the right direction. Your cells are programmed to be healthy. They're programmed to live in a health promoting direction. But a lot of our habits is what gets in the way, particularly our dietary habits and our overall lifestyle habits. So when you start just getting back in alignment with doing the right things and improving the way that you're living, you start to change things inside of yourself, get back in alignment, and all those issues and those ailments that you're dealing with, whether it's a blood pressure issue, diabetes issue, even like arthritis and all those things, they all start to change because your body is getting healthier, man. And then when you start doing those health promoting things, you can expect that to happen. And the beautiful thing about it is, this don't take months and weeks and years to happen. This starts happening as soon as you start doing it. And as you build on these different practices and these different strategies, your whole life just starts to change. And it's not just like your health. Like, I know my health turnaround was a big thing, but my mindset changed and my whole lifestyle changed, and how I viewed and approached the world was totally different, man. All those things changed and came together, and I think it was all for the better.
Oh, man. I mean, what you're saying right there, like I'm connecting to it because I'm seeing how going raw and really, and especially locking in on the fruits. You can see behind me right here, I got the fruit haul because I got a 21-day fruit feast coming up, and I'm not even guiding anybody on this. This is just me, for me, and one of the things that really is like, it's been amazing. You know, I've been in this for a minute now, lost 100 pounds, and was on the vegan train, you know, but I got sick on the vegan train,
right.
You know, but when I say the vegan train, you know, it's that processed vegan meat, those processed vegan junk food. And that, now when people hear the word vegan, that's what they think about.
Right. Exactly.
People tell me and say, oh, vegan it's too expensive. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And they start telling me all this processed vegan food, right? Potato chips, Oreos is vegan, you know. So I had to shift off of that, get on the whole foods, plant-based whole foods. And, you know, then I went to a whole nother level of health, but then coming to raw, man, like my sinuses are clearing up, you know, like I said, the skin issues are clearing up, the inflammation in the body, the weight that I couldn't take off is falling off. And one of the most amazing things is because the raw food helps to cleanse, you know, these fruits back here are electric cleansers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they've now cleansed my digestive tract where I'm able to absorb the organic minerals and the proteins better than I was before. So now I'm able to gain muscle, you know, off of hemp seeds, off of walnuts. I don't need to eat chicken breast. I don't need to eat turkey. I don't need pea protein. You know what I'm saying? Now they put pea protein in everything. Eat the peas. Eat the peas. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm not eating soy. I'm not eating gluten. I'm not eating all this impossible beyond meats. Yeah, it's going to be beyond getting healthy if you eat it. It's going to be impossible to eat healthy if you eat it.
And that's facts. That's fact. A lot of that processed stuff is a lot worse than the everything else out there. Because this is one rule I always preach to people. Like, you have to understand this thing. When it comes down to your nutritional habits, it should always revolve around this. No processed foods. It's as simple as that. No processed foods will solve you a world of trouble. Like,
wait, hold on, Kelly. Mm-hmm. Break down what is a processed food, because I don't think everybody actually, when they hear that,
that is true.
I don't think everybody knows what a processed food is.
That is totally true. So when we're gonna put it on a spectrum of what processed foods are. So when you look at a processed food, think of it this way. I'm gonna give you the spectrum. That way you can find out where you land on the spectrum and where all these other foods land on the spectrum as well. So when you think about processed foods, when you think about the highly processed foods, you think about things like the white pasta or the white rice, the cereals, and the stuff in boxes, the canned foods, the things with all the chemicals, the potato chips, the additives, all those things. Those are all your highly processed foods that's just severely damaging to the body. A lot of the fiber, the water, and a lot of nutrients are all stripped and removed from those items. They benefit you in no way possible. They're
Kellen, if there's not water in the food, the carbohydrates can't move. Carbohydrates need water to be able to flow, because that's the whole thing of the electric, you know, the electric magnetic system of the body. So if you remove the water out, now the body has to give its water up to try to process this food that's dry, even if it's greasy. We ain't talking about grease, we talking about water. Now the body becomes dehydrated because it had to give up its essential water to rehydrate something that was dry. Just so it can be processed and the body can try to digest it.
Exactly, man. So that's why
starch don't even digest in the system. That's what Dr. Ariz taught us. He said cooked starch does it digest in the mouth, right? The saliva. We swallow the food. We ain't sitting here chewing all day long for the complex carbohydrate to switch over into a simple carbohydrate and then eat it like a cow or something. We eat it, we swallowing it, and then the body's like, what do we do with this? And then it's sent into storage. The starch is going into the soft muscle tissue. It's hardening. It's going into the joints. And then people wondering why they got inflammation, why they got all these diseases, because they got starch stuck inside the body. The body's producing excess mucus just to try to protect itself from all these from this material that was never meant to even go into the system.
Yeah, and that's facts, man. So it's really important to understand, like, when it comes down to these products, a lot of things, like, I'm gonna say this one thing, because I try, like, to keep it clear for certain people.
Yeah.
The overconsumption consumption of processed foods is really the big problem. People eat this shit every day. It's as simple as that.
Right.
You eat it every day, you become that. It's as simple as that. Now, I'm not saying that you got to be a party pooper and just not have some stuff that you like, but if you're someone that's dealing with a chronic health issue, you got high blood pressure, diabetes, or any health issues, processed food should not be nowhere on your radar. It's as simple as that, especially if you're working to correct this issue. Because if you're still consuming just a little bit here and a little bit there, that little bit there is setting you back, and it's continuously becoming damaging to the body. So understanding that those processed foods need to be completely eliminated from your diet if you're working towards correcting these type of issues. So now back to understanding what they are.
And Kelly, hold up. What you saying right there? Because people, you know, I remember in this, not to hit me, we talking about toast and jam for breakfast.
Yeah.
That's processed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We talking about a bag of chips that go with your lunch.
Yep.
Right? With the sandwich meat on that's all processed.
It's all processed.
All of it's
highly processed.
The chips. And then for dinner, after dinner, maybe you have a balanced whole foods dinner, but then you have ice cream.
Processed.
Now we didn't had a whole day full of processed food, but someone may think because they had a banana in the morning with that bread and toast, or some peanut butter or something, because they had an apple with that lunch, a salad with that lunch, they think they're eating healthy.
Yeah, and it doesn't work like that, because one of the biggest rules when it comes down to reversing a chronic condition is that you must remove all possible causes. And if a food item has any potential to cause you any harm or any damage, it needs to be pulled out of your dietary habits, removed from your diet as a whole. That way your body can start to turn around the effects that it's actually been causing you. So if you're trying to heal and you're still consuming the things that are damaging to you, that you're spinning in a circle. So no healing is actually occurring, and you're wondering why you can't lose the weight. You're wondering why you're not getting the results. You're wondering why you're seemingly just stuck in this circle and not getting to where you need to be. So you have to understand, eliminating processed foods and all the things that are damaging to you is going to be very, 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 very important. So understanding that these highly processed packaged foods, the processed meats, the cereals,
the bacon,
anything in the box,
pepperoni pizza,
anything in the box that's in the grocery store.
Anything.
Think of it like this: if it's not in the produce section in your grocery store, 9 times out of 10 is highly processed. If it's not in the produce section, it's highly processed. Now, there are some other items throughout the aisle that you'll find that are minimally processed, and I want to break those down too, because you know, minimally, all processed foods are not necessarily on the far end of the spectrum that are going to be bad for you. So when you think about minimally processed foods, this spectrum starts on a small scale. Some people like to consider strawberries as being processed, mainly because you got to pick them off the plant, put them in a clam shell, and go. That's minimally processed. There's no chemicals involved. There's no additives involved. That's something that's minimal. But when you think about something that's further on the tip of the minimally processed scale, you think about those canned vegetables, the ones that don't have, you know, the salts, the oils, and the sugars all packed inside of it. Because the reason they use salt, oils, and sugars in food is to simply stabilize it on the shelf and to make it taste the way that they want it to. There's no other benefit from salt inside of food besides making it taste a certain way and making sure that it can sit on the shelf for 2 years, 3 years, or however long, because salt is a preservative. It preserves whatever is sitting inside of it. So understand, they put this in there to save them money, and it doesn't necessarily focus on your health or, you know, what you have going on internally. So you have to be able to understand that if you're dealing with some issues and you're trying to move away, reading the labels, understanding the packages, and moving away from those things that have those chemical preservatives in it that's highly processed, that'll give you a better understanding of how these things work.
Oh man, I mean that's so true, and it's interesting because, you know, this food right here behind me, you know, this is all alive. It's still alive right now.
It's still alive, sitting right there.
Now,
it's still alive.
It has live enzymes on the inside of it right now. That's why the fungus, it will come and eat it. Right. Because it's alive. You know, it want to eat something, right? So it's gonna go. But that stuff on the shelf is dead. It's all the way. That's why it can be preserved. Because you're gonna preserve something that's dead. It has no life in it. You know what they do with the mummy. The mummy was a dead person. They could preserve it, right? And I went to Egypt, man, and 2,000 years later, 3,000 years later, they still got mummies there, sitting the way they were 3,000 years ago.
And it's crazy because that whole process, they use different oils, different spices, and salts, and all those things to preserve it, man.
They pack that body with salt and pull all the moisture out of it, right? And so the same thing with this food. And you know, the thing I think, you know, is that this right here gives you life. Right. This is life-giving. You're doing a salad challenge, man, the salad and a fruit challenge. That's life, man. This is life. If I'm putting life inside my body, that's what I'm experiencing the last 40-some days being raw. I'm putting life inside my body, so now the food is giving me life. Yeah. It's giving me more life. If I put death inside my body, then it's going to lead me to my death. Our bodies are either regenerating or they're degenerating.
Right.
It ain't no middle ground in that.
It
is no middle ground.
That's right.
That's because we on a cycle. We always are on a cycle. We always are moving, just like, you know, time or space, or whatever. And so, like in that framework, you know, I was thinking about it, and I'm like, man, my body is regenerating itself, but I'm watching some of my family members' bodies just degenerate, and the illnesses, the dis-ease.
Right. And
Kellen, why would I want to live in dis-ease?
That's really important, man. You know, and the toughest thing, this is what kind of hit me recently. We had a class reunion. I think it's I don't know how long it's been, but we had a class reunion coming up, and I didn't get to make it, but I saw a lot of pictures. And not to talk about anybody, but I was like, damn, what, we look old. Like, you know, so I'm looking at the picture like, man, everybody look old. You know, they look a lot older than, you know, they should be. You know, I'm 35 years old. So, you know, I expect somebody to look like, you know, they got some life in them, 35, you know, whatever. You still live.
Like Dr. Reed, 76. He's 76 moving. Right. So you're 35, you should be,
Exactly. Yeah. So, you know, and then when I put two and two together and just was analyzing, I was like, man, a lot of our lifestyle choices, they wear and tear on us as we continue to age. And it's not just your dietary habits. Your lack of sleep plays a role in this. Your drinking plays a role in this. Your stress level plays a role in this. All these factors contribute to your overall health. And when you're consistently living a poor lifestyle, your body is breaking down day by day by day. And all these things are working against you. But when you start to do health promoting things, you change these things, man. It doesn't matter how old you are. You could be 30 years old or you could be 70 years old. Once you start making these health promoting choices, your body gets back in alignment and start moving in the right direction. Now, one thing that is important to know is that there is a point of no return. You know what I'm saying? You could do so much damage to your body like, yep, I can't get back over this wall and fix this right now. So now you're stuck in a position where you can only hope to stabilize yourself and minimize the disease that you have there. So understanding that if you're someone that's up and able to make changes, this is the time to lock in and understand what these changes are by simply just, you know, improving your nutrition, taking these baby steps and moving forward. Like that's what the 7-day fruit and salad challenge is all about. Understanding how to take those steps and get better, because if you just allow for, you know, your actions to just continue to move the way that they are, you're going to end up in a horrible situation. But when you make a choice to make a change, now you invite health to come to you, and you know this brings you back in alignment, because change doesn't happen by chance. Like you got to make a choice for this to occur.
And yo, what you saying there, I'm really rocking with it, because you know I'm 39, so I turned 40 in October, and I'm telling my friends, I'm like, look, you have no more time. Yeah. You must make a change now. Like, because I thought when I've been on my journey now for, let's see, this is the ninth year. I'm in the 9th year. Like I just celebrated 8 years since I was 300 pounds, right? And I lost that weight. And it's real interesting. But back then I said, you know what? I want to be a healthy old person. Right. You know, I saw Chef Babette, you know, I saw Doc, Dr. Aris. I saw Brother Fernando. I think he passed now, but I think he died at like 114. You know, good health, mind sharp. And I was like, yo, the way that you make a healthy old person is by being a healthy young person.
That's facts.
You know, now if you're trying to become a healthy old person and you're a middle-aged person, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. Even though the human body is a phenomenal vessel and can do many things. You know, I've heard of stage 4 cancer patients and stage 4 heart disease people and in their 60s and stuff, but that's not the common thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so don't play with it. Like people are, you know, we're investing into our careers. People invest into their education. People invest into their car. They invest in clean their house. But this temple, man, this body.
You get one body, and we've all heard this. You get one body, and it's the only place that you have to live in. And we have to understand, this is your biggest asset, your body that you live in. Without your health, you have nothing. But unfortunately, a lot of people wait till, you know, something happens and then try to fix the problem. And preventative measures is always going to be the best form of medicine. You prevent this from happening, you don't even have to worry about anything occurring or coming from it. But, you know, unfortunately, a lot of us wasn't raised with the understanding of lifestyle, because we pick up our lifestyle habits from our parents, from our grandparents, from our community and things like that. And we're easily influenced and led astray by these type of things, especially with this, you know, it's a whole miscommunication about diets and things you should do and change things you shouldn't do. That miscommunication there is a whole nightmare in its own. But you have to really understand that no matter what it is that you decide to do, you have to make a choice and roll with it and understand what path that you decide to take. Because if you're someone that's just not doing anything, eating a standard American diet, you're going to end on that same standard American diet path. 68, 70 years old, heart failure, which is what? Heart disease, the number one killer, cardiovascular disease. That's the path that most people are on. The diabetes, the high blood pressure, they're going down this pathway. And we have to understand this: high blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease, that's all on the same line. If you got high blood pressure right now, you're 30, 35 years old, 40 years old, you're on the path to getting diabetes. You're on the same path to having a heart attack, a stroke, aneurysm, and eventually having heart disease. That's the whole manifestation of that, not including the kidney disease and all that other stuff that falls in between. So we have to understand that high blood pressure is a manifestation of a lot of different things. And a lot of it starts with just your lifestyle choices. When you make the choice to actually do better, you'll start to get better. And it's not rocket science. You know what I'm saying? This is just living your life in a health promoting way. You know, instead of coming in the house, turning on the TV and sitting down, figure out how to move your body more. Stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like you walk what, 3 miles every day, something like that?
Yeah. Like sometimes I walk 7 to work and 7 back. It's like 14.
Right.
You know what I'm
and
saying?
That's by choice.
So
you made a choice to do that.
Right. I got a car. Yeah. Right. Yeah. You know, man, what you're saying, like, my father's had 2 heart attacks. My grandfathers all died from heart disease. One of them was diabetes related. You know, the heart attack came from it's like how just what you're saying, it changed. And it was something real simple, man. I watched that documentary, Forks Over Knives. And after that, I saw the clinical studies, you know, that was done by these cardiologists. And then I said, you know what? If it was just at that time, I didn't have as much knowledge as I have now, but it was just real simple. I was like, animal products have cholesterol in them. The excess cholesterol, the built cholesterol inside of the arterial lining gives people heart disease and heart attacks. If I cut out the animal products, I'm way less likely of having a heart attack. Right. Simple as that. Like just real simple.
Right.
We're not getting into
it brings that down drastically. You know what I'm saying?
Now the sugar is another big role with that, because the sugar thickens the blood.
Right.
And when it thickens the blood pressure has to increase. And as the blood pressure increases, it damages the arterial lining.
Yep.
And when that arterial lining, now the cholesterol is actually coming to repair the damage to the arterial lining caused because the blood was too thick, right, or the body was too large. Yep. So I'm 6'6", you know, it take a lot of pressure to get this blood down to my toes, to the top of his head. When I was 300 pounds, that's a lot of man. Yep. You know what I'm saying? This is a lot of man meat to get for that heart to pump. You know, I'm not made to be a big dude. You know, some people are genetically made to be larger. You know, I'm not. My family is lean, thin people. So I learned that later, that the sugar and the starch was playing a huge role in it as well, heart disease, right? But I just started with just that little simple information about that. And I said that time, I must go plant-based. Why? Because I want to live.
Right.
My father told me when he had a heart attack, he said that it felt like an elephant stepped on his chest.
And that's something that you don't want to experience, man.
He's sitting there like this.
Listen,
like that. Like
and you can't do anything about it. You can't do anything about it.
Yo, he told me that. I said, you know what? I'm like, nah. And instead, and the part that's difficult is got to get over the addiction.
Yeah.
The addiction, the elimination, confrontation. You got to confront what it is. And I used to work with drug addicts. You can't get a little taste.
Yeah.
If you an addict, and here's the thing, you know you're an addict if you can't put it down. Once you find out it's unhealthy, which means it's an unloving act towards the self, and you can't put it down, then you're addicted to it. We know that with cigarettes. We know that with the opioid crisis.
Yeah, we accept that.
But what about French fries?
Nobody wants to accept that part of it. And that's the part of the equation that, you know, people have to learn that, yo, this is different levels to addiction. Food addiction is the biggest type of addiction. Like, I want to say at this point, the scale's done tipped. I think 65% of America is obese or overweight or obese.
Wow.
It used to be like almost half and half.
Wow.
But now the scale is tipped, and people don't want to really confront those bad habits because they find a lot of comfort in those things. And eventually we wait till something happens, because how many people we know like, yeah, I need to lose some belly fat and I need to do this. They want to look a certain way. They want to do this mainly because of the aesthetics. They want to look a certain way. But they have to understand, like, yo, that belly fat is a contributing cause to your the chronic issues that you have, or you're going to ultimately develop at some point. So understanding just doing it for the aesthetics is not, that's just not it. You need to do it for your overall health, because when you focus on your overall health instead of just this belly fat or trying to look a certain way, you start taking care of your body as a whole, start doing things that are going to help you as a whole. And ultimately, this helps when it comes down to the longevity of your overall lifespan. And we have to realize that a heart attack don't care how old you are. You know what I'm saying? My auntie was 44 years old when she dropped dead of a heart attack walking into her job. You know what I'm saying? Walking into her job, she collapsed, turned blue in the face, died right there on the floor. 44 years old. I knew her life was stressful. She didn't have a great diet, and no one really knows how you're feeling inside, because, you know, that's you. But, you know, from the outside looking in, I kind of knew some of her habits and the things that she had going on. But to the average person, she looked like a normal, healthy individual. She dropped dead of a heart attack at 44 years old. And when I saw that, I was like, hell no. Like, you know, I don't want that to be me, because I watched my grandmother struggle with diabetes and having strokes and being in the hospital, in and out, dealing with these chronic issues. And no one wanted to talk about it. My mother didn't talk about it. My aunts didn't talk about it. Nobody talked about it. Grandma's just sick, and she's taking all these pills, and we just dealing with it. No one talks about those things. And me analyzing my family history and, you know, the things that was going on, my aunts, my uncles, the kidney disease, the blood pressure issues, everybody's on pills. I knew something needed to change from within me, because now I was dealing with the blood pressure issues. My body was in a pre-diabetic state. I was 248 pounds. All these chronic issues manifesting, and my doctor saying, hey, take these pills, and I'm saying you're going to be on them for the rest of your life. And I didn't accept that. And I knew that making some changes, I knew that if I wanted to live, I needed to make some changes. And I had to dig deep within myself to be like, I don't want to die this way. I want to take care of my children. You know, I got 6 kids.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Man. Like, I want to be there and take care of my children.
Beautiful children.
I need to be there for them. And this required me to go within myself and not just do it for me, but to do it for them as well. Because I don't see myself dropping dead at 40 years old for things that I could prevent. You know what I'm saying? And for the thing is, a lot of us have to understand our health is largely in our hands. I'm not saying I don't value and appreciate doctors, because they can be life-saving in a lot of different ways. Same thing with pharmaceutical medications. A lot of people are only alive because they're taking pills. If you wasn't taking pills, you'll be in the toilet bowl going round and round. You know what I'm saying? So we
Yeah.
have to understand those things and those people, they have their places. But
Right.
when it comes down to your overall health, this starts in your house with the decisions that you're making on a day-to-day basis. If you're making crappy decisions regarding your food and the way that you live your life, your health is ultimately going to project that. And once you start making those health promoting decisions, implementing those tactics and strategies and these changes to fix some of those things, your body is going to reflect that. It's simple as that. It's no other way. How much you're willing to do is going to reflect in how your body shows itself.
Yo, man, what you saying is so key. And okay, I'll show some of this fruit real quick because I want to connect to what you're saying. All right, cool. Let me flip this camera around real quick because man, we got some good stuff here, Kellen. See, right, man. Look, I heard somebody in the chat. They asked about women. What's the best food for women? Papaya. Kellen already noticed the papain in this. There's a chemical in this, especially in the seed, that breaks down the fibroid tumors. Right? You take this papaya, cut it up, and you put it together with this okra. Y'all know okra get kind of slimy, right? We're going to eat it raw. You make an okra papaya salad with some curry, Kellen. You put some curry in it, mixed it up, brother. Man, look, this right here, this is the fibroid tumor remover. This going to break them up. This gonna ooze them out the system. You know, man, got your cucumber. They're cooling that inflammation in the body, you know. Man, I had hip problems in the hips, arthritis. The doctor told me, yeah, arthritis. You know, I had the issue in my neck and stuff. Man, I ain't got no arthritis because I'm on this.
I remember that.
Remember that? Man, I'm on a cucumber, man, you know. Okay, we got the limes, we got the lemons, you know. Tell them about that acid, you know. Somebody asked about that visceral fat. That visceral, this is what Dr. Reese said to us. He said, when you take starch and you take fat and you cook them together, they create a very tight bond that is very difficult to break free. Starch wants to sink, right? Kelly, you know when you juice your any like starchy vegetable, the starch falls to the bottom. Fat floats on top of water. The body's mostly made of water. So what's going to happen is that because that bond was created, that fat now, it's that fat starch bond is floating right in the middle of your midsection. That visceral fat, that fat people can't leave. The only way to break it is acid, and we talking about this type of acid, citric acid, right? The acid, you know, acid like this, and pineapple is another acid right there, right? And also, you know, got the lime, and then heat, right? I don't have the heat out here, but we talking about the hot peppers. We talking about the habanero. We talking about the Scotch bonnet. We talking about the ginger and the radish, you know? So you put them together, we busting that up, man. I'm gonna make something. You need to make it, Kelly. You the chef. Make something called the bus up. You know they got the Caribbean bus up. I'm gonna need you to make a bus up.
Right.
You know what I mean? We got to bust that visceral fat. We got to bust that starch up, man.
They don't
we got to bust that fat up, man.
Say no more. We'll definitely go back with another video and showing them how to put those things together. And one of the best things you should take from this, if you notice, everything is raw and in its natural state. You know, that's where you're going to get the highest form of vitamins, minerals, enzymes, everything in its raw, natural state. Because once you start cooking foods and processing it and breaking it down, it's no longer going to have the benefits that is supposed to have. Once you put heat to anything, the nutrient levels start to decline, they start to break down, and it's no longer going to be as beneficial as it was. So when you start implementing these whole foods and these raw foods to your diet, you're going to get the best healing formula to help you on whatever journey that you're on. So no matter what you're dealing with, understanding that you need to eat more fresh, whole foods, fresh raw fruits and vegetables, this is going to help you move forward. And this process doesn't take weeks and years to happen. Over the course of the first 2-3 days of eating fresh whole foods, your body is going to start increasing its elimination efforts, and that's going to help you move things around. And that's why some people say, oh, as soon as I eat a salad or I eat some fruit, I got to go right to the bathroom. Right. Most likely you need it to. It's as simple as that. You got so much stuff just sitting up in you that's being built up. Once you start eating these electric foods that's going to stimulate your digestive system and allow for, the process of elimination to heighten, it's going to push these things out of your body. It's going to allow for your body to get back in alignment. So you need to embrace some of them bowel movements. You might even get constipated during this process. You know, understanding that you need to stay hydrated and stick with the process to allow for these things to run its course. A lot of times people are so scared of their bodies when they respond to certain things. They're like, oh no, I don't like this. I can't do this. No, your body has to adjust. Like there's going to be some blowback in certain things. One thing that I experienced a lot, I started breaking out every time I was cleansing and fasting. Like I felt no discomfort, no pain, but boy, did I break out across my forehead in different areas. Like, you know, it happens. So you have to understand that the way your body responds to elimination and detoxification, it all depends on how you are treating your body. Some people get headaches, some people get a lot of mucus, some people get body aches and chills, then some people don't get any symptoms, and then some people like me, you just break up across your head, look like you've been, you know, going through all type of things. But you have to understand that it's a process that you're going to have to go through, and being able to embrace this and understand it, because a lot of times we don't understand what's happening and we default to back to what we know because it's comfortable for us. But going through a season of being uncomfortable, especially when you're making lifestyle changes, it's going to help guide you through the process. And this is why I always mention that you should always document your journey as you transition. As a matter of fact, I always say document your journey. That way you can understand like your process. I keep this picture. I show this picture all the time. Josh, you've seen this picture before.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
I keep this picture right up here.
Wow.
That way, every time I pass by it, I can remind myself of what I look like and who I do it for. This is me sitting there holding my kid, 248 pounds, dealing with all these stress and chronic issues. And I knew that I needed to change. And part of me documenting my journey was framing this picture, keeping it somewhere visible. And every time I walk by and see it, I thank this guy. I thank him from the bottom of my heart, because he made the decision. I ain't make the decision. He made the decision to do better. He made the choice that he didn't want to live the way that he was living. And when he decided to make that decision, he didn't look back, and he made me who I am right now. So understanding that documenting the journey is going to give you the fuel to get to where you need to be, and understanding that it's a journey. It's not 6 months or not, 7 days. This is a lifestyle. This is how you live over the course of your life that's going to ultimately determine your overall health. So understanding that some days are going to be bad, some days are going to be good, some are going to be easy, some are going to be hard, but understanding to continue through the journey and embrace the journey. And it's all about the things that you're doing and enjoying it, figuring out what resonates with you, and being able to live in that moment as you improve your health, as you, make these changes that you're going to live on and feel comfortable with. Because a lot of times people end up yo-yoing with some of the decisions, like with weight loss. I've seen people lose 120 pounds and gain it back in the summer, because they went on a quick fix trying to correct whatever issues that they have. So you have to understand, this is 4 years of of losing 80 pounds and not even having a drop of it come back to me. So understand, this is a lifestyle. You got to be willing to make the changes to live that life that you want to live.
See, like Kellen, your journey and mine are different. You know what I mean? Because you went on that linear path of like the 80 pounds. You did it what I would consider the right way. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to say right and wrong, because we all got our own journeys, but I know that's the healthier path. I did the yo-yo, it was, let me see, it was 3 years of yo-yoing until I learned some of the key things that was necessary. When I locked into that, I was able to lose that next, I think it was like 70 pounds in like 2 years, But before, I was losing 40 pounds, gain back 30. You know what I mean? Lose 50, then I'll gain back 40. I would do that. I just kept doing that. And I want to speak to that specifically, right? And I want to show a particular see that right? That's a watermelon. That's the watermelon. What does watermelon do? Watermelon pulls starch out the body. Coconut water, green coconut water. You down in southern Florida, you can get them. Me and Kelly, he see I'm plotting trying to get them up here. I'm plotting trying to get some green coconut. It pulls starch out the body. The reason I was yo-yoing, bro, is because I wasn't dealing with the elimination confrontation. I had to get over the addiction. The reason why I would fall back was because I had starch built up in the system. I was still addicted to all that processed food. So I would lose it. I would fast, or cleanse, you know, drop some weight. But because I hadn't really dealt with flushing out the system, intercellularly cleansing, you know, which you can do with food, you can do with herbs. Really, fresh herbs is food, right? We're using the parsley, we're using the cilantro, we're using it fresh now, you know what I'm saying? We're using the basil, you know, we're using the microgreens. We're cleansing the system. But that watermelon, I got over the meat addiction, right? Then it was like I got to get over this process, the what you call it, extremely processed foods, right? I got over those. I knew that those real bad foods are bad. I cut out all the fast food. I cut out the soda, right? But what was getting me were those foods that I thought was in between, the bread.
Right. That's a lot of people's soft spot right there. A lot of people can't get over that bread, huh?
That rice, that pasta. Oh, it's not bad. I'm just getting some pho. I'm just getting some Indian food. I'm just getting I like the cultural food. I'm just getting a little I'm just getting some fufu. You know what I mean? I'm just getting some fufu with some okra stew, right? Oh, you know us. You know so I want the cornbread. I gotta have the collard greens. I gotta have the butter beans. I gotta have the black eyed peas, rams, lambs, tomatoes, you know, potatoes. You know, I got in the potatoes. Yeah. Come on. So that was I know for me, that was my big struggle was the starch. And I kept on going on this cycle because the starch, I knew when I picked the sugar out, I was like, okay, I got to get rid of the sugar because the sugar kept coming back. So then I put extra sugar, then the starch. That was the final frontier, brother. Yeah. And so now I know that when I feel that hunger for that starch, it starts leaving my body. You know, look at the little one. Hey, what up, boo-boo?
Yeah, that's the notorious refrigerator raider. She go in there and grab a big plate of everything. She the reason why everything look like that. Cause she go in there and grab a plate and she'll come out holding the plate like this.
Come on. But that was the thing that was because I didn't figure this out for a minute, which was go ahead and get over the addiction and the mental addiction. You know, telling myself, oh, it's okay. That's like saying, it's okay to have another puff of the cigarette if you're trying to quit smoking. It's okay to have another blast of crack. You got to put the crack. You got to put the pipe down. You got to get over the pipe. We can't say, for me, I can't say I'm going to go back. You know, and I know some people, they try to flirt around with the moderation thing. I was sick. For anybody who's sick, who could get sick, because you see your family members are sick, the number that the doctor giving you is not the indication if you're sick. Yeah. If you're putting poisons into the body, you're sick. You have toxemia. Yeah. If you're putting toxins in the body, your body is toxic. So all you got to do is look back at life, look at if you put toxins in the system. If you have, you're sick. What happens is the body just gets to a point where it can't handle it.
Can't handle them. And I'm a piggyback off that real quick because I'm glad you said this. Because one thing that we have to understand when it comes down to doctors and diagnosis and things like that, we have to shift the paradigm of how we're looking at it real quick. Yeah. I want to say this. I might get some blowback from it, but I want to say like 90% of all people are sick. It's as simple as that. In America, and the reason I'm saying this is because it's largely due to our lifestyle and what we're doing. And the reason I say 90% is because even though you might not feel sick, or you might not necessarily be dealing with the chronic issue.
Your numbers might come out okay.
Right. Your numbers look good according to the standard American, the standard of what it's supposed to be. But how many people have been sick this year? Or a runny nose, congestion, sore throat. Those are all signs of your body being vulnerable in different ways. Now, you might not be down and out sick, but you're a wind blow in the wrong direction of you just coming down with something. Because many people find the weather change, they seemingly get sick. They go outside and get wet. They feel like, oh, the weather got me sick. It's not necessarily that. No, the things you've been having going on inside of you, they eventually reach the limit, and now your body ends up saying like, hey, shut it down. I got to cleanse and break it down. I'm overburdened with the toxic overload. And for many people, it expresses itself in different ways. When you look at young people get sick and they bounce back. Babies get runny noses, they bounce back just like that. Right. They get small colds and fevers and they bounce back. old people get those chronic conditions, the chronic disease, the diabetes, the high blood pressure, because they don't have the vital energy to bounce back like the younger kids and the babies and the healthy individuals are. When you're
Right.
young and healthy, your stages of sickness tend to come and go, come and go. But
Right.
as you older and your vital energy is not up to par to where your body can knock out these toxins and rejuvenate itself, you start to get the chronic issues, the stuff that just won't go away. And like, you know, the pains and all those things. So we have to understand our internal vitality, that as you age and you're living that unhealthy lifestyle, your body is getting weaker and weaker and weaker. Now, ultimately, it's going to be to the point where it collapses completely. So
Right.
understanding that when you go to a doctor and let's say they take your blood pressure, and I'm going to use this as a point. Let's say they take your blood pressure and your blood pressure 130 over 85. Some people say, well, that's not too bad. Like, you know, it's right on the marker. Your doctor probably won't even prescribe you any pills or any medication for blood pressure like that. They'll probably say, hey, you need to get it down, blah, 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 X, Y, Z. But
Right.
you have to understand that, you know, that
they're gonna
number,
tell you to remove. They're gonna tell you to remove to remove salt.
right?
They're gonna say reduce your salt intake. That's what
So
they're gonna say.
you have to understand that's what doctors use is based off of the standard American. And again, most Americans are unhealthy to begin with. That's
Right.
a standard chart, standard American chart that's based off of unhealthy people all around the country. So if you're someone that's actually looking to be healthy and to actually get over these issues, you have to shoot to be lower than what the standard chart is. I ended up doing some blood work 2 weeks ago. All my numbers was great. My A1C was 5.2. So I looked at it like, damn, it's actually right where it needs to be. But I expected for it to be a little bit on the lower side of good. It was still good, but I wanted to be on the lower side of good, because when you look at things from the standard American point of view, they wait until stuff is bad to start saying that it's bad. So your A1C might be, let's say it's 5.9 or something, or whatever, it's up there. It's going to be looked at like, oh, it's not that bad. Like, you know, it's manageable. But you don't want a situation to be manageable. You want it to be non-existent to actually, you know, to prevent something from happening. So one of my main goals was to always make sure that I'm on the bottom side of the standard American health scale, because that health scale is dedicated to, and it's created by unhealthy people. They look at unhealthy people, they do the studies on unhealthy people, and they give you a seemingly healthy target range. But if you aim to be on the bottom side of that scale, you'll find yourself on the best side. Look at Dr. Latham. His weight, he's a thin guy.
He's underweight.
He's underweight. According to the standard,
he's underweight, right?
According to the standard American, like BMI and all that stuff, he's underweight. They would consider him to be unhealthy. They would consider him to be in like some type of trouble. But that's based off of the unhealthy people that they evaluated to create that chart.
Right.
So when you look at the people that are all living a health promoting diet or living a health promoting way, you're gonna see them on the downside of these different charts, mainly because they're so in alignment that that's the true standard of what health should actually be with. That standard American chart, when it comes down to blood pressure, blood sugar, all those different readings, you're a step away from having problems. Doctors don't treat you until you have a problem. And if your blood pressure is floating around in the okay range, you're developing a problem. And before you know it, you're going to be in a position where your body is compromised. And now this issue now needs to be dealt with. And understanding that your body is designed to handle these problems within itself, but you got to get out of your own way. A lot of people stand in their own way by the things they're eating, the things they're doing, how they're living their lives. Once you get out of your way and start living in a more health promoting path, going down a more health promoting path, you will start to see these changes occur.
Yeah, man. And you know the thing is cool about it, Kellen, is it feels good.
Oh like, man, like
good. Like this tastes good. This tastes good. This feels good. You feel good. You know, now, you know, like there is a part of it that doesn't. I'm gonna be straight up. Like right now, I'm detoxing some stuff. Like there's some mucus stuff that's coming out of here, and then you know, the emotions come with it, and I'm doing, you know what I mean, and I'm doing 21-day fruit, and I know I'm gonna get it in because I got elimination confrontation that I'm dealing with on this like deep kind of level of healing I'm going through. And I can say this, I'd rather be uncomfortable.
Gotta be
cleansing the system. I'd rather go through the withdrawal symptoms of coming off the addictive food. I'd rather deal with it like that than have to deal with sitting up in that hospital.
Yeah, those are big facts right there. I'd rather deal with that any day because those are two streams and two different levels of discomfort. That's two different spectrums. I remember I had a client, right?
Yeah.
I was in Tallahassee.
My phone might die, so if it did, you'll know I ended up. I wasn't trying to hang up on you.
Yeah, I had a client that was in Central Florida, and I was up in Tallahassee, and she had some chronic issues going on, and I drove across the state to go see her because like it was just we had that type of close relationship. So I drove across the state to go see her, and she was dealing with kidney failure. And my thing is that, you know, I understood her journey, I understood her path, and also, you know, I wanted to go see her mainly because I wanted to support her because she really was trying to change certain things, but she reached the point of like where it wasn't going to get that much better. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So me driving off to go see her, it put me in a position where I got to like just be up close with her during this whole process. I spent the whole time there just sitting bedside, just talking to her, not even about health. Just now it's like, hey man, how can I comfort you just by just being present through this moment? Because things started to take a turn for the worse. And, you know, being in those situations, you know, we have to understand how to learn from those things. And a lot of us have seen our parents and our grandparents and our siblings or whoever go through chronic issues, but we still haven't learned that, you know, what's triggering. And it's our dietary habits and our lifestyle. We have to be able to learn and teach those next to us, teach the next generation how to do better, learn how to live properly.
Hey,
because go ahead.
I'm interrupt you. I want you to share something though, because people hear this whole thing about, oh, it run in my family, and almost like it's just they're just gonna get it. Like, oh, diabetes run in my family, so I'm just gonna, because I'm predisposed to having diabetes, I have a predisposition to having diabetes, then I'm gonna just have it. If high blood pressure run in the family, you know, they told that about black men. They say, oh, y'all just have high blood pressure. Yeah, I remember they tried to tell me that when I was 20-something years old. I had high blood. He's like, oh, you know, he's like, oh, you know, you got high blood pressure, so you're a black man, so we got a pill for you. It's okay to go on this pill.
It's supposed to happen.
I'm like 20 years old, 21. You know, I'm 6'6", I'm probably like 220 at that time. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm not this obese guy. And I'm just like, hold up. So you saying, I told him, I said, I don't care what I got to do. I don't care if I got to go down to 130 pounds. I said, I'm not taking no pills. I said it just like that to the doctor. I said, you need to give me some other ways for me to handle this. And he had none. Yeah. He just looked at me. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to go do it myself then. You know? And exactly. Real talk. But please speak on that, bro, because I know like that it runs in my family, but I'm starting to believe a little bit different. I'm starting to think about that these lifestyle and this environment and this food and these toxics and this toxicity is turning on certain genes. Right. And like the genes are there, but it's something is turning them on. What do you think about it, bro?
And exactly what you're saying is exactly what it is. Think of it this way. It's one of the doctors I follow real closely for like the last 5-6 years, Dr. Clapper. He gives this really good analogy. What he says is that we understand our lifestyle, and then, you know, we have to look back at where our lifestyle and our dietary habits come from. They come from the people that raised us, our mothers, our fathers, our grandparents, you know, our aunts and uncles. These are all the people that raised us, and they all shape our dietary habits and our lifestyle habits. So we have to understand that the way we live generally comes from them. That's where we pick our knowledge up from. You eat just like them, you live just like them. If they work out, you probably work out like them, you know, things like that. So understanding that when it comes down to chronic conditions, you may be genetically predisposed to these type of issues. Your mother has high blood pressure, your mother has diabetes and things. You may be predisposed, but what activate these genes that connects you to this is your lifestyle and dietary habits. Because if you live like your mother, you eat like your mother, and she have high blood pressure and diabetes, and you're doing the same things that she's doing, ultimately you're going to develop those things because your food activates these different genes. It triggers these genetic factors. So understanding that your lifestyle is I think this is what he said. Your genes is the bullet inside of the gun that's going to fire off and ultimately turn into a chronic disease. But your lifestyle is what pulls the trigger that causes this to all manifest. So if you change your lifestyle from eating the improper foods, not getting enough exercise, stressing out about different things that's going on, you change your lifestyle around and start doing things in the opposite manner, you're no longer going to pull that trigger that's going to cause these chronic conditions to manifest. And now, don't get me wrong, there are some issues that are genetic that you probably have no control of, but 95% of the chronic health issues that people are dealing with, it's all based off of their lifestyle. So if you live the same way that your mother and father live, and they have these chronic conditions, 9 times out of 10, you're going to develop those same things. But if you make the lifestyle changes and you stop living and eating the same thing that your family and your parents and everyone else is eating, you're going to see a total different results in everything that's occurring. When you look at my side of the family, and my mother and my grandmother, all the women in that side of my family were all heavier women, heavier set. And when it came down to my dietary habits, I ate just like my mom. I did everything just like my mom. And once I hit like 27, 28 years old, I stopped exercising, stopped playing ball and stuff like that. I ballooned up and I gained the weight just like the rest of them.
Yeah.
And I started seeing those same things being in alignment with my lifestyle and my habits and stuff like that. But once I stopped doing everything that was detrimental to my overall health, I'm 360. I look like nobody in my family. I'm the thinnest person in my family. Men and women. I look totally different. And the only thing that's different is I don't live the same way that they live. I live a totally, completely different lifestyle. And that came from me making a decision to change and not want to be this way. One of my biggest things one of the biggest reasons behind this was my little baby that just left. She hugged me one day, and she didn't she used to be able to, she didn't get her arms around me when she was doing that, right?
Yeah.
So, and it was triggering to me. Wow. And when I say triggering, because I was already mentally depressed about certain things I had going on. I already had a drinking problem. I was already stressed out at work. I was overweight, and my doctor telling me about my blood pressure and all these other stuff I got going on. And when she did that, it didn't feel right. I wanted to hug her, embrace her, and for her to actually hold me. Yeah. And it triggered me in a way. It was like, man, I got to continue to figure things out. And again, I had to dive into these changes because there was no help on the medical end of it. It wasn't you need to do this, you need to do that. It was like, hey, you either take these pills, change your diet, and get some exercise. But that wasn't the answer to the problem. You have to look at the whole spectrum when it comes down to your lifestyle, and understanding what your specific triggers are is going to be very, very important to overcoming those issues. But back to it, your genetics plays a small role when it comes down to these chronic conditions. That they are important, but it's a small role. A small group of people, just have those genetic issues and those genetic factors. But if you change your lifestyle and improve your overall health, it doesn't matter what condition that you're dealing with, your body is going to respond in a positive way and your health is going to get better. No condition, say it this way, all conditions get better when you eat better. All conditions get better when you sleep better. All conditions get better when you start exercising. All conditions get better when you start controlling your stress and meditating and doing stress management. All these things get better when you improve your lifestyle. Now, if you're someone that's willing to dive into it and make a 360 from what you've been doing, you're going to find yourself being able to come out on the other end of the spectrum, a brand new you. And I was able to do it. It's as simple as that. Brand new person. Same thing with you. I don't know if you have your pictures laying around with you. I put it in the chat.
I put in the chat. They got to go to IG or maybe on my Facebook page. I got the picture up there somewhere in my photos somewhere. They got to scroll a little bit.
And that was an amazing picture. When I seen that picture, I was like, dang, like,
Yeah,
you
'cause I
know,
had that gut that sat, because I didn't have the
yeah.
muscle on me. I had that gut sat out, you know, and you hit some, bro. Thank you for that, because you know I remember I was hearing all the thing about running the family, and we need, you know what, we need to run in the family. You feel me? Like we need to run in the family. I'm thankful that I had an uncle who was a runner. You know, he ran for Morgan State University, almost became an Olympian, and he's the one who got me into juicing when I was in high school. You know what I'm saying? I've been juicing since high school, man. And but I fell off of it, you know, trying to, you know, in college, trying to get muscles. I was eating plates of bacon, 12 eggs at a time, working out nonstop, taking
Crazy.
NO2,
Crazy.
you know, I'm pumping and all this, man, farting everywhere, eating that protein powder, creatine, you know, backing up myself, all inflammation everywhere. I'm thankful for my uncle though, because I came back around to it. But you hit on something, man, talking about the mental health piece, you know, and we were talking about the yo-yoing thing.
Yeah.
And yo, that was the real reason I was yo-yoing. The addiction of the food was connected to that emotional state.
Yeah.
And the way I was handling my emotional state was with food, alcohol. You know, more food than even the alcohol. But there was a time when I had that bottle of Henny sitting next to the futon.
Listen,
I
had a bottle a day habit, though. Like, crazy. Like I was crashing out, and this is the tough part about my alcohol addiction, right?
Yeah.
I was a high functioning alcoholic. I was in the corporate world functioning on a bottle a day.
And a lot of people are, man.
Yeah.
A lot of people high functioning addicts, yeah.
Listen, I was on a corporate level, opening up restaurants all around the country, drunk as a skunk every day. My tumbler was full with Jack and Coke every day.
Wow.
Whatever I had, it got to the point where I couldn't function if I didn't have it. And if I wasn't set up for my day, it wasn't going properly. And I had it was tough, man. And the thing is, you don't really see how it affects those around you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, you know, how it affects matter of fact, I'll talk about her, how it affects her. Not her, because she was a little younger. My oldest daughter and my son, they used to see me drinking all the time. Now, mind you, I thought I did it discreetly. Like, they'll see bottles in the house and stuff like that. I would always change the cup and put it in certain things so they didn't really see it. But when I stopped drinking, when I stopped drinking, this turn popped up between the kids. We were having a conversation, and then they started talking about grown-up juice. And I'm like, what the hell is grown-up juice? And they was referring to my alcohol and things like that. And one day they slipped up and was like, don't drink that. That's grown-up juice, you know? Like, and the kids
paid attention, like she paid attention right now. She was paying attention to what you were saying right there. She's right there listening, like grown-up
you know,
juice.
Kids always have a conversation amongst themselves. Kids see and hear everything. So as much as I thought I was keeping it away from them and stuff like that, they hear, they communicate, they talk. Their thing was grown-up juice. Don't use that cup. Don't drink that. That's what grown-ups do. And so when I stopped drinking and I finally was aware of certain things that they were saying, you know, I had to kind of dial back into those things and be open with them about what was going on, what grown-up juice is, why I don't drink grown-up juice anymore. So I had to really get in touch with myself and be able to open another door to talk to them about this addiction that I had, and then also talk to them about how I close the door so I can get through these types of things. So understanding that I use my alcoholism to get myself through my job, get myself through my emotions, get myself through my relationships. I used it to mask a lot of things. And I ended up quitting cold turkey. Like, I just poured it out. I went through
You quit the alcohol cold turkey?
Cold turkey.
From a bottle a day habit?
Cold turkey. Whoa. Enough was enough. Like, you know, they say when you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, like,
that's intense, bro.
Listen,
alcohol is one of the few substances that in the psychiatric medications that, you know, that they give you other things because you can die off the withdrawals from it.
Listen,
alcohol is a beast to the system.
I quit cold turkey, and I remember taking all the bottles, just flushing and pouring it down in the drain. I didn't feel bad about it. my girlfriend at the time was looking like, okay, how long this gonna last, you know? And I just got rid of all of it. And I went the distance without having a drink, to the point where the first time I had a drink after that, I had a glass of champagne when at my baby's shower for Sage. I had a glass of champagne, and that's because it was just because.
Yeah.
And when I had it, it had no control over me no more. I didn't even feel it. It didn't touch me. And I felt like, man, I don't need this. It didn't do anything for me. I wasn't even looking to get anything from it, but I felt like I had control over the situation completely, and I never even bothered to touch it again. Like, and mind you, I've been drinking since I was like 14. Like, you know, I've been drinking since.
Wow.
Listen, my first drink, I found a 6-pack under the bus bench on my way walking to school.
Wow.
Me and my cousin, we broke it down getting on the bus, and I took the other 4 and I stashed it inside the home economics class in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
So, you know, my first drink started there. Then my auntie used to keep some Belvedere on her top shelf. So every time we used to come into the house, we'll pour up a glass of Belvedere, grab like a Yoo-hoo, pour it inside there, and then just mix it up. And then we'll leave out the house. So my drinking started real early, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, and I never like understood how it affected me emotionally, physically, or anything until I got to a breaking point, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I got away with it so much in my work career. I never got in trouble for drinking at work, and I was drunk damn near every day, like hands down. Never got in trouble for it. My relationships, even though my relationships during that time, they failed and had a lot of issues and things like that, I never was held accountable for my alcoholism during those times. So it took me to reach a point where I was ready to make a change within myself to actually come over that problem, to overcome that problem. And I was able to do it cold turkey by just saying like, yo, enough was enough. And that was by far one of the greatest changes that happened in my life, because I can really say like the curtain came up.
Yeah.
And I started to see things a lot more clearly for what they were. And my decision making got so much better, not along with my health as a whole, but I think my ability to make more conscious decisions about the things that really meant the most to me just got so much better. And if anybody dealing with alcoholism, it's really important to understand that, you know, eventually, you know, this problem will consume you. No matter how small you may think it is, it will consume you and become a problem. Then the worst thing you want to do is to allow for it to manifest into something that's uncontrollable by just simply saying, no, I'm done. If you're able to dial it down or eliminate it, it's really important to just, man, understand what really means the most to you. And I made the decision about my children and my family, and that really pushed me to the edge of like, yo, enough is enough.
Yo, man, that's powerful, bro. That's powerful, man. I didn't notice you quit it like that, you know?
Yeah, cold turkey.
Like I know, man, so alcoholism run in the family, you know, and stuff. And so I actually I always watched out for alcohol because I knew, because my dad's alcoholic and all that. But I ended up still drinking, right? Trying to anesthetize myself to the emotional pain, you know what I mean? But food was mine. But it was interesting because I remember when I was drinking, and I didn't know that alcohol was sugar.
Yeah.
I didn't know that how alcohol metabolized in the system.
Yeah.
So I would like do all this stuff, working out and doing all this and all that, and then my body would start looking good. Then I go get throwed on the weekend. I mean, get throwed, toe up from the flow up. And on Monday, I'm looking like, what happened? Yeah. You know, I'm drinking with a Diet Coke. I'm drinking with Diet Sprite. Yeah. I'm thinking if I mix it with something sugar-free, that is diet. Yeah. Not understanding that alcohol has to, the way it metabolizes, it cuts off all fat. No fat burning is going on.
Yeah, nah.
It's a toxin in the system, so the body trying to figure out what in the world
how the heck to get rid of it. As simple as that.
Right. It's going all through your liver and all of that. Like the body is like and so it's not cleansing, flushing, losing fat, nothing, you know. And it really is. It's, I mean, the way it's produced is with starch and and yeast, which is a fungus, you know, and you get eating the sugar out of it, and it produces alcohol. And so, but it's real interesting because my addiction was that food. Like, I remember going to Little Caesars, Taco Bell, getting you remember the big pack? You could get the burritos, you could get the tacos, the soft tacos, the hard crunchy shell tacos, and the bean burritos. You get them in one whole pack, like 12 of them.
Word.
I get the whole Little Caesars piece. Then I'm gonna go get some wings on top of it, bro. Then I'm gonna go get a double. I'm gonna get 2 Whoppers. I'm gonna go to Sonic and get a drink. I'm eating all of that at one time.
That's crazy. I can say that's food addiction.
That's food addiction. That's insanity, yo.
Yeah.
And I was trying to feel a hole in me, they say you're trying to fill something up. You know what I mean? I'm really just not trying to feel this pain.
True.
You know, the deep grief, been through a lot in life. And ever since a child. And I'm trying to, and I'm dealing with stuff I don't even know what it is, but I'm just trying to, if I can get full enough of food, if I get enough dopamine release, I don't have to feel this pain in life.
That's
that depression, or at least it'll get me so tired I may be able to go to sleep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Same thing with the alcohol. If I drink enough alcohol,
yeah,
I'm gonna get numb.
Yeah.
But this food will numb you. And it was deep. What Doc taught us, he said when starch, which most of that food is, the chicken is coated in starch, the French fries, better believe as the French fries with starch, that pizza was starch, the drink was starch, it was sugar. He said the starch, when it's in the body, right, it's sitting in water, so it starts to ferment. Yeast gets created inside the body, and what else? Alcohol. So literally, this food is creating alcohol inside the body system, and we wondering why we feel a certain way. We get a high. We getting drunk off this food, bro. You know what I'm saying? Off this starchy food. So I remember doing that. And I had done it before in my life. This food addiction thing has been something with me since I was young. And binging and all of that. I never did the vomiting like that, the anorexia. I never did. I just would binge, And then finally I looked up one day I was probably 280. It wasn't my highest. I was probably like 280, 270. And I looked up at the ceiling, and a non-judgmental, non-shame voice I heard, right? And I would say ancestors, my higher self, people say God, whatever you want to say, angel, spirit guide. Some said to me, like, Josh, you got this health knowledge. And most of us has basic knowledge about something about health. But I had a lot at the time. Since you have this knowledge about health, why don't you use it to become your optimal self? But it wasn't judgmental. It wasn't shameful, because I had to work, because that's what was keeping me in that downward cycle. I was so ashamed telling who I was. I was so ashamed of who I was. I was so guilty. I was so afraid. I had so much grief, you feel me? And so finally, I remember I've been working on not being ashamed. But I had to ask myself that question. I just said, why don't I use the knowledge that I have? I know the basics of being healthy, and I just choose to eat and poison my body, which is really an act of slow suicide. And it hits me. And then I said, why? And then this voice came back and it says, if you know how to live an optimal life and you make a choice not to, you're not loving yourself. Now, why don't you love yourself?
Yep.
That was it. That was it. This food behind me, this is love. This is Mother Earth. This is the nature's love, right? Putting sun drops. That's full of the sun. The life energy on the planet Earth comes from the sun. And those are sun drops. Photosynthesis is put the energy of the sun in this food. We eat that. We're eating that pure love, that pure light energy. Eat the sun.
Yep.
And that's love. This other stuff I was doing was death. And I had to ask myself that question. And it wasn't even me answering the question. It was just me making a decision at that time.
Just making a decision. Making a
decision to say, you know what? I'm going to love myself.
Right.
Now, later in the journey, I started figuring out why I didn't love myself and where that false story came from, that I shouldn't love myself.
Right. And
eventually through therapy and my traditional indigenous, African spirituality practices and all kind of other things and plant medicine and all kind of other stuff, I started to figure out, you know, that I need to learn how to unconditionally love myself.
And that's what's so important, man. You know, because again, like when it comes down to just your overall lifestyle, it's some prerequisites that are needed. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's bigger than just food. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
emotional well-being is a
Critical.
critical part of your
They're
overall health.
interlaced.
It's like this.
You
All of
can't
them are like
separate them.
this. You cannot
You're
separate them
not gonna
because
get, nobody's gonna get healthy unless they deal with the emotional, spiritual, physical all together. It's impossible.
you have to be. It's so tied in because once what do they say? You only a chain is only as strong as its weakest link.
Yeah.
Once one of those structural foundations of health is broken, you're vulnerable now to almost anything. So we have to understand, like, you know, it's a lot of little things that goes into lifestyle changes, but understanding what they are. And if you're someone that's dealing with a chronic health issue and you're ready to make a change, it's now time to take a step back, make a conscious decision like, yo, it's time. I feel like I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
And once you're ready to make this change, now you just have to analyze your lifestyle to understand, you know, where these issues seem to be stemming from. And when you just have once you just start to look into your lifestyle, the way you're living, the some of the other things, the things that are going on around you in general, this will tell you what's going on. You don't have to go to a doctor or go to, you know, wherever and run these labs and all these things. Look into your lifestyle. A lot of people try to go outside of themselves to get answers about what's going on within themselves. Like, just go within yourself. Look inside yourself. Understand yourself. It may take a little work, but understanding yourself will reveal everything you need to know about the issues that you are dealing with. And by simply getting yourself back in alignment and learning about how to correct these things, it's going to be the way. It's no magic formula. You're not going to go, okay, I'm gonna buy a bottle of this and this is gonna fix my life. It don't work like that, man. Like you watch the internet all day and people try to sell you stuff that's gonna just fix you. It doesn't necessarily work like that. It got to put in the work. You got to be willing to put in the effort to get to the root cause of the problem. And by just taking a step back and looking at yourself, this is gonna help you highlight what your triggers are. Whether it's you need to work on your emotions, work on building better relationships, getting more sunlight, getting improving the aesthetics around you, cleaning up your environment. You know, it's a lot of little things. And the beauty of it is that when it comes down to lifestyle changes are free. When I say they're free, they're free. They don't cost you anything to actually do. Now, it might cost you something to have to learn how to do some of these things, but they're free in the sense of it's a natural way of living your life. Going outside and getting sunlight is free. Take your behind outside between the times of dawn and 11 o'clock and do some sunbathing and relax yourself and, you know, get some sun. Take a walk and, you know, all those things. This is how you can harness the power of lifestyle changes absolutely free. Just taking the time to understand what they look like and just being consistent when it comes down to your own growth and development will guide you along this path. It's really, really as simple as that. But most people, the way that our society is structured, it's not designed to help us be healthy. It's as simple as that. The things on TV, the things in the grocery store, our friends and family, the things that influence us, none of this is structured for us to be healthy or to regain our health and in any type of way. So
even many of the fitness influencers,
it's not
you know, that's why I had to go to Dr. Reese, like go to Panama and do his course and stuff, because I was like, yo, I was listening to these people and stuff, and you see people would be doing a certain thing and they quit it and all of this. I said, let me go see somebody who's proven, proven to do it. You know?
That's a big part of it.
And that's one of the things that's good about you and what you got going on with your coaching, and especially with this salad and fruit challenge, because we didn't have these in-person coaches. Right. You know what I'm saying? When we went through our process, and that made the process a lot more difficult. You know, because I didn't know who to go to. I didn't have at the time. I had to go into yourself,
and
I didn't know who to. And so I just was like, well, let me read this book, or let me look at this video, or let me do this. But that meant that I'm trying this and trying that, and I'm looking at this fitness person, I'm looking at that thing, and I'm doing this thing. And a lot of time went by, really, you know, that didn't have to if I had got some good information earlier on, you know. And I know it's proven, because you're the evidence of it. Yeah. That it's proven. Like you don't have to talk all of this and then just say, look, I got muscles. You know what I mean? You be like, I was fat. Here go the picture. I had high blood pressure. You want to see the test thing? I can show y'all my a chart where my weight look like here it go. You know. But what you got going on with the coaching, man? Can people still join, bro? Can people still join this the fruit? Is that locked up now?
Yeah, because we got what I want to say about 36 hours left. The challenge
36 hours left to join it.
Yeah, the challenge officially starts on Monday. We've been talking about it for the whole week. That way people can sign up, get prepared, buy the things that they need to get, and also go through the ebook, because we've been taking the time to go through the ebook inside of the high blood pressure community, because I provided the ebook with the fruit and salad challenge to help people also understand, because it's dedicated for helping people start to build up their nutrient storages, specifically dealing with blood pressure issues. Because, you know, for a lot of people, you know, it's a simple deficiency that's triggering the problem.
Really?
So the fruit and salad challenge allows for you to understand the nutrients that play a direct role in regulating your blood pressure. Potassium.
Nutrient deficiency is causing a blood pressure issue.
For a lot of people. I'm not going to say all of them, for a great deal of people. And because, you know, different other triggers that can also be the same thing, stress and all those other things that are there. But what happens is when you understand potassium and its relationship with blood pressure, potassium, sodium, magnesium, zinc, calcium, you know, vitamin D, you know, all these antioxidants and the role that they play in helping you with your blood pressure. When you understand these things and understand the foods that you can consume to help you build up these nutrient storages, now it puts you in a position where you've learned something that you now can apply to help yourself. And by eating more whole foods or partaking in the 7-day fruit and salad challenge, this will help you build some structure to start to implement these foods into your diet. Like, even though the fruit and salad challenge, it's not a raw challenge, it's more so of, okay, you eat this type of way, but now I want you to start incorporating 3 to 5 servings of fruits into your diet each day. I want you to start incorporating a large salad into your diet without all these processed salad dressings on top of it each day, a certain style of salad. That way you can now start getting the nutrients that your body needs to increase your nutrient storages, to correct the internal deficiency that's possibly fueling the problem, and start actively working towards correcting your blood pressure issue. Because again, this is only one step. When it comes down to blood pressure problems, it's so many things that can contribute to blood pressure issues. That's why doctors say, well, there's no blood pressure, because they're not going to take the time to dive into your lifestyle to help you figure it out. They don't have the time. It could be your stress levels, it could be your vitamin D levels, it could be your dietary habits, it could be numbers of things. But you have to be willing to take a step back and turn over every stone to do the work to understand what your triggers are. And that's one of the challenges about getting control of your blood pressure. There's nothing you can take. You could take a supplement that's going to bring your blood pressure down and make the numbers look good, but as soon as the supplement is out your system, it doesn't necessarily fix the problem, which is a lifestyle problem. You have to correct the lifestyle to correct a lifestyle disease. High blood pressure is a lifestyle disease. Type 2 diabetes is a lifestyle disease. You have to fix the lifestyle. So it's not about what you can take, it's about what you can do. You have to be willing to do the things that are necessary. A lot of people say, oh, I want to get off of blood pressure medication. They're not willing to do the things that may be needed to hit that reset button to get those things in order. And the thing is, when you press that reset button by going through these types of things and understanding the changes, this will potentially give you a clean slate to where your body gets back in balance. And now it's up to you to manage this balance moving forward to prevent these issues from coming back. Because you can make all the lifestyle changes, bring your blood pressure down to 117/75. It looks good on paper, you feel good. But if you go back to doing the same things that cause your blood pressure to go to rise, it's going to come right back and you're dealing with blood pressure issues all over again. So once you hit that reset button and you understand what your triggers are, now it's all about just staying in alignment, living a health promoting lifestyle that's going to allow you to work your way off of the pharmaceutical medications by strengthening up your body, correcting the nutritional deficiencies that are there. And now you don't have to worry about taking diuretics that are flushing out your electrolytes and fueling other issues throughout your body. You don't have to worry about calcium channel blockers that's messing with your mental capabilities and all these other things. It's all about understanding that, by providing your body with the resources that it needs, you can allow for yourself, you can get out of your own way and allow for your body to create the change that it needs to just get healthy and just improve your overall health. So the Fruit and Salad Challenge, it's a stepping stone. And one thing that I've been able to be successful at through my coaching practice is that I've been able to help people bring out the best in themselves, because I can only bring you so far. I can only give you the tools. But my job as a coach is to help you come away with the understanding and give you the tools to actually do better and get better. And I hold these challenges that way. People that are ready to step up and make some changes, they have the tools that they need. They have the support system that they need. And now it's just about showing up for yourself. If somebody give you a blueprint and say, hey, show up for yourself, this is your blueprint to get to where you need to go, and you show up for yourself and you go and you pound the pavement and you make it work and you do what's needed, you're going to ultimately get the results. And I've been able to get that through myself, through countless testimonies and people that I've worked with directly. And it shows that making lifestyle changes is going to help you reach your ultimate goal of improving your overall health and getting off of pharmaceutical medications when it comes down to your blood pressure.
Man, it's phenomenal, man. It's phenomenal what you got going on, and the energy behind it, man. Because I'm 100% raw, man, and I'm with it because I have friends, like we did the 21-day what was it? It was just like vegetables and fruits, right? And people, they was like, we did the 21 or 30. Man, after they said, yo, I didn't think I could do it, but they felt so good.
So much better.
They felt so good. Yeah. They were like, and I like that you're doing 7 days because, some folks, that's all they got in and they felt like a failure. You know what I mean? Yeah. But that is a really good place to start from because you can do 7 days. Yeah. Like you can lock in 7 days. And locking in 21-30s is challenging. It is. I'm not gonna lie.
And again, the most beautiful part about it is that it's not taking away anything from you. You're able to eat whatever you eat. Of course, I always encourage, like, hey, you want to be mindful and make some other changes to get the best results. But right now, our sole focus is adding health promoting foods to your diet. Once you get consistent with adding those things to help you with your diet, that's going to help you with your blood pressure, and you keep up with these things, now you can work on pulling those toxic things out. Because now you're gonna have a better understanding of what you can replace them with. Because a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm gonna quit meat. I'm gonna stop eating fish. I'm gonna stop eating bread. I'm gonna stop drinking sodas." They say, "I'm gonna stop all this stuff." They stop it for a little while, and then before you know it, they don't have anything to replace these things with. And now you only got so much willpower. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like willpower only gets you so far. So now once your willpower runs out, and you find yourself in a vulnerable position, you end up going out or you're at a party or somebody brings something over, it's like, well, I'm going to just have a little bit.
I'm going to just have a taste.
I'll just have a taste of it. And then
it's like just 3 hours later, the pizza is gone, the soda's drank, you know what I mean?
And you got to understand, you can't rely on willpower when it comes down to lifestyle changes. Yeah. It's all about tactics and strategies, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I teach. I teach about those tactics and strategies. That's where the wealth of, the changes come from. Because when you have those tactics and strategies, when you're in a vulnerable position, you know what your rock is to lean on and be like, okay.
Because tactics and strategies are being used by the food companies, by the pharmaceutical companies, by the advertisers, by the psychologists that they're hiring to get you addicted to the stuff, the food, to get you sick, to get you taken on into the medical thing. So, because they're making so much, this is a lot of money in this industry, you know.
Billions of
But
dollars.
nature got a tactic and a strategy too.
Right there.
This nature's tactic and strategy to get the body into what we call ma'at in the Kemetic, you know, I practice Kemetic yoga, which is harmony, balance, you know, this is nature's strategy. And it's a beautiful strategy because, yo, once you go, one of my homeboys, right, he's about 300 pounds, he's about 286, 287, about 5'7", okay? Big boy, muscular dude, fat dude, right? And, you know, he's been doing great, man. He's like 2-3 weeks in, and everything. Had some knee issues and stuff, and they wouldn't do knee surgery because they said he was too big, arthritis in his knees, and you can imagine what else with the
right.
That's weight and everything, you know. And I told him, I was like, bro, I said, you gotta make it past the first 3 days, man. You gotta make it past the first 3 days. And you know, that's that elimination confrontation. And so he was calling me up, Jack. Oh my God. I said, it's just addiction. I said, it's just addiction. You got to get over the meat addiction and the sugar addiction. And you know, and I curse. I ain't gonna curse on your live, but you know, I said you know I cuss. You know, I said you know what? I said y'all can fill in the gap. What I said them two is up. And he was like, all right, it was 7. His elimination confrontation was 7 days.
Yeah, word.
He said, yo, I went through it 7 days. I said, how you feel now? He said, yo, I feel better. You know, I said, what's going on? He says, my knee still hurt. He said, but I can feel the pressure coming off. I've lost 26 pounds. Yeah, he either lost 22 or 26 pounds. I was like, bro, keep it up. I said, it takes a longer time, you know. But once that's over with, like once the system cleansed, because I told him this, because when I asked him, I said, why? What are you really struggling with when we were doing like our initial consultation? And he said, I got to eat this, you know what, that I don't want to, this healthy, that I don't want to eat. And I can't eat the stuff I love to eat. And I said, bro, with that mentality, I said, you're not going to win. Yeah. I said, but I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. I said, once you get over that elimination confrontation, once you get over that initial addiction, because these addictions go deep, but the hard chemical one take 3 days, right? The sugar one. That's the bad boy. I was like, that's 3 days to break the big one, you know, the withdrawals. Says once you get over that, and once you really start flushing out the system, your taste buds are going to change. Yeah. I was like, bro, if I had the taste buds that you got right now, I would be wanting to eat that chicken box too. I says, but that actually, when I smell it, it makes me sick now. Yeah. I said, if I was to eat it, I would vomit.
Yeah.
I was like,
you literally get sick internally. Like, yeah, I agree.
And that's helpful because now the healthy food, I desire it. I don't desire the other stuff. And I know some folks, I know me, when I was deep in that food binging, you know, I wouldn't recognize that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and some people, I literally had a client and she told me, she says, I love this food. You know, I told her, I said, love is for people.
Yeah. Facts. Boom. That's the best way to say it.
Love is for people. Now I may say love is for life. Something that's alive. You're going to love live stuff. That's live. I can love that because it's alive. You know, because I can love I got a pet snake over here. You know, I can love my pet snake. You know, he's alive. You know what I mean? Alive. I love my mother. I love it. You know, I'm gonna give my love to this thing. I said this stuff is death. You know, and I believe in talking to the ancestors, so I believe they're alive too. You know what I mean? I love them too. But I'm just saying, when we're talking about this decaying stuff, this toxic poison, this stuff that'll kill us and our kids and our families. And I'm not exaggerating. How can I love that? Loving that isn't, you know what I mean? And so it's addiction. It's you really don't love it, you know, you're addicted to it, right? You know, and if you do love it, it's something else going on with that's wrong there, mentally and emotionally and spiritually, that really needs to be looked into, and it can be handled. You know, we can do it, man. Y'all that's listening, y'all can do it. Me and Kellen did it. A bunch of other people did it. We can do it. You can do this thing.
Yeah, and it really just takes you to understand how to connect the dots between what you're doing and how it's making you feel. Yeah. If you're able to connect those simple dots between your habits and what they're contributing to in your overall health, this will help you understand, like, yo, this means no good to me. If you eat something and it may stimulate you mentally, or it may make you feel a certain type of way because of the dopamine effects that may come from it. But you have to understand, if you're eating a certain way and you're gaining weight and you're dealing with chronic issues and you're constipated and you got God knows what going on, you got to be able to connect that dot and understand that pathway that's contributing to the things that you're feeling. And that's where having guidance and coaching and challenges will allow you to actually excel at, because a lot of people really don't connect the dots between their habits and what they're experiencing. You know what I'm saying? And that's related to your health, mental health, everything. And a lot of people don't understand the cycle that they're caught up in. And like one thing I like that you mentioned was that about the taste buds changing. For the average person, anywhere between I want to say 14 or 21 days, that's the time frame it takes for your taste buds to really reset. Because one thing about it, when I remember when I was going through my process, it seemingly happened almost overnight, you know what I'm saying, with what I had going on. But the thing is that processed food, those high fat foods, salty food, greasy foods, they all start to your taste, when your taste buds change, it all becomes too much. And it's like, man,
too sweet,
too
sweet, salty, too
it's
oily,
too much. And it comes to the point where you will feel sick now. And now this is your body outwardly rejecting these types of things. And we have to get back to like understanding our body language, because your body is all knowing. It's as simple as that. When it comes down to your health, your body knows every single thing. Remember, you started from a small sperm and an egg, and your body, they came together and made you your whole, exactly who you are. So your body knows the ins and outs of creation, how to build you, how to repair you. It knows everything. But you have your body and you have your mind. You have to mentally be in alignment to when it comes down to health promoting practices, because again, a lot of us stand in our own way when it comes down to the healing aspect. So your body wants to heal, but your mindset is so thrown because of the society norms, your habits, and other things that you got going on. So that mind and body connection isn't there. So the healing is not able to take place because you're stuck mentally in this pathway that's not going to allow you to do the health promoting things. So when we understand that the wisdom of our body, this will allow us to just take a step back and listen to our body. And your body speaks to you every day, but unfortunately, a lot of people don't hear it. The only thing they hear is they feel the pain. That pain and discomfort, that's a deep level of your body talking to you. When you feel that pain, you be like, oh shit, I can't do that no more. Like, or I need to stop or something like that. People hear the pain, but they don't hear the subtle things that the body thinks. That discomfort in deep in your stomach, where it's like, oh, I got stomach cramps. Like after you finish eating, that's your body language telling you like, oh crap, you shouldn't have did this. Like, and most people continue to eat and do the same things after they feel the discomfort, they feel the pain, or they be constipated and stuck in the bathroom for however long. A lot of people ignore those things, but when you get better in touch with your body, understand your body language, you can start to hear your body tell you certain things, and this will allow you to get back in alignment to better manage those things that you're doing that goes against what your body wants. And one of the best things I did when I kicked my salt habit was I simply took some salt and I put it on the tip of my tongue, right? And what happened was, no one likes salt. It's as simple as that. Like, people think they like salt because of how it makes their food taste, or all the other stimulating effects of it. But when you look at salt for what it is, nobody likes to eat salt. Like, you take salt, put it on your tongue, the first thing the person say, or let's say if they put too much on your food, you're like, oh, this is salty. Like, give an outward rejection of it. Like, oh, no, this is too much. But that's your body language talking to you. So when you look at things like this, naturally, your body doesn't like salt. Naturally, it doesn't want that. But people have came to the point where they chronically poison themselves by putting salt on everything. We season everything that we're eating. We lace it up with salt, and it gives us a stimulation. We say, well, salt tastes good. No, it doesn't. But what happens is we put salt on different foods. When we take when that salt is on that food, it hits our taste buds. Now,
Right.
salt now has a chemical reaction to your taste buds that desensitize the taste buds itself. And now the flavors from the other foods that you're consuming, they're able to manifest into a more bolder, richer flavors and stimulate you in a certain way to where you enjoy it. Take that chicken breast that a person might eat. You take a chicken breast and eat it without any salt or anything on it, people are like, oh, this is nasty. Like, I can't eat this chicken breast without no salt
Right.
on it.
Not with no seasoning.
Not without no season. People would tell you, like, yo, if they get something unsalty, the first thing people say is take it back. I don't like it. It's nothing.
Right.
But now, once they start putting the salt and stuff on it, it stimulates them a certain type of way. So now it's palatable. Now they enjoy it. And now they get caught up even more in these types of cycles. So understanding that, your body language is going to say a lot to you. And regarding different things, and not just salt, just a lot of different things. Listen to your body. One thing was pepper. Think of pepper. Pepper get into your nose. The first thing you do is, and you try to sneeze it out. The body don't want it in there. You're irritated. Different things like that say things. So understanding that, listening to your body language on a deeper level will allow for you to connect those dots to move away from certain things that can be triggering to you, especially if you're dealing with a chronic issue.
Now, it's interesting, bro, salt. So Doc, he told us, like, he don't eat salt, right? No salt, no oil, no starch. All raw, right? But he said, hey, there's bridges. So even in the Sunfire protocol, there's bridges. So he was like, you can use black salt, which is out of Ayurvedic medicine out of India. You're not even gonna see it in most grocery stores. You gotta go to Indian grocery store.
You gotta order it.
Yeah, you gotta order. And he said the reason why is because this is what he said. It's supposed to leave the body. That's what he said. He said, so in Ayurvedic medicine, they'll use it while they're fasting because it's supposed to leave the body. He said that other salt don't leave the body. Mm-hmm. Right? This is what he was saying. Now we know you can get the sodium that the body needs from celery.
Yeah.
You get the sodium the body needs from vegetables. So it's not a necessity to have the Himalayan iodine table or sea salt. It's not a necessity to have that because you could get out of the vegetables. But since people have eaten that that diet that was so salt heavy, sometimes it's psychologically it's really difficult for them to go no salt. So we'll use this. That's what I've been using is this black salt. And guess what it smells and tastes like? Eggs.
Yeah, eggs. Yeah, you're right. It does smell like eggs.
Because it got that sulfur.
Hold that real quick. And I'm hold that.
You must be gonna go get some.
I know I got some.
Because it's not actually black, right? It's pink. Yeah.
That's the beauty of it. Because when I've had this in my cabinet for God knows how long, so it looks just like this.
Yep.
So this is the black salt. This is the salt that he's talking about. And I remember we ordered this a while back. And this was during our transitional stage, trying to figure things out and get things done. And the thing about it is that, again, I like what you said, like it's bridges to things. You know what I'm saying? When a person making a health turnaround and they're trying to do things differently, like let's say kicking certain habits, you to come across a bridge than to just dive into the water and just be like figuring it out. So having certain tools and understanding of those certain things can allow you to get across these different platforms to reach the goals that you're trying to reach. And when it comes down to these certain type of addictions and these different type of stimulants that a person may be on, having the knowledge of what you can use to get you across this plane is going to be very, very important, because again, it's hard to just go cold turkey and just be like, okay, I'm gonna just stop consuming salt. Because again, I went cold turkey with salt that first week. To be honest, my household was in shambles. There was no emotions. I wasn't stimulated positively in any type of way. So we have to understand, like, if you have the tools to get across and get better at things, it's really, really important that you utilize them so you can do so.
No, I feel you on that, because I know I was struggling kind of when I was like, man, without the salt, without the oil, but now I'm tasting it in the food, and I'm noticing that salt is causing the sinus issue. And I'm saying, you know, even the black salt, the kamut, I can feel it now. And I'm like, all right, and it's getting saltier. I'm tasting, I'm like, I'm not tasting this food all the way.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're using this, I know I'm using it as a crutch. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna reduce it and I'm gonna eliminate it, you know? Yeah. And the oil is almost all gone already. Because we made some fresh coconut cream. I didn't know you could make the fresh coconut cream. Mm-hmm. You don't get the mature coconut, take out the meat, blend up the meat, and then put it through a juice press bag or nut bag, and you squeeze out coconut cream. You put in the refrigerator, and you got pure coconut oil on the top. It'll float up and harden. And I'm like, this is the only coconut oil we really should be eating, because that other coconut oil is rancid. You know what I'm saying? It's highly processed and all that. You can put it on your skin. You know what I mean? Yeah. You can use it for like some kind of lubricant or something. But when it comes to like
on into the system, it works a totally different way.
And it's not that hard to get a coconut, crack it open with a hammer or with I got a wrench. I'm banging it open. You know, like, I'm the coconut king when it came to open them up when I was in Panama. They gave me the coconut. I was like, give it a job. Bam! I'm busting them open. I'm pulling them out. But you know, just put it in a blender, squeeze it, and then, bro, have you done the fresh coconut cream, bro?
No, I haven't.
Bro, the pina colada with the sugar cane juice, which I thought was starch, but he hipped us on it that is not when you juice it out, with the pineapple juice and the coconut cream.
A different level of freshness, I'll tell you that much.
Bro, the pina colada, we know we ain't using no rum, right? This is alcohol free. This is, you know what I mean? But bro, the flavor of this pina colada, we was in there like, oh my God. Like literally we was drinking it like that. It's just the fresh coconut cream, the pineapple, and the sugarcane juice, and it blew us. So, in other words, what I'm saying is the food is amazing, man. And what these raw chefs have been able to create, and what we can create just with a blender, food processor, and a chopper, and a dehydrator, bro. When I was transitioning, one of my last meals, peep this, was nachos, vegan nachos. I had some jackfruit nachos. I went to this restaurant we got in Baltimore area called Hugh. Yeah. I don't think when you've come, it probably wasn't here. Man, they cook it up with the jalapenos and the avocado and the salsa, and they put the jackfruit on it. And I'm sitting over eating I asked for extra chips, and I said, this is my last time, and I'm tired, right? Yeah, yeah. I love me some nachos. So, but I gave it up. I said, I'm done. I said, I'm done. I ain't even gonna try to eat no nachos. I ain't gonna try to make no fake nachos. I said,
yeah, you're done with it.
I made some raw flaxseed crackers, right? I think I may have used farro, some kamut in there. No, quinoa, flaxseed crackers, dehydrated in the dehydrator, 120 degrees, so it still stays, the enzymes still stay alive. Then I had some pepper sauce, you know, the jalapeno, the habanero, not a green pepper, I don't use green peppers, red pepper, yellow pepper, blend that all up with some lemon juice and some garlic, had the pepper sauce. Then I had the avocado. Bro, I didn't know it was gonna taste like this. I started eating it. Oh, and I had the cashew cheese, right? Cashews, soaked for 12 hours, a little bit of lemon juice, put some peppers in there as well. Man, I'm eating this. And I had walnut meat. I did it big, Kellen. I had walnut meat with the chili pepper, the paprika. You know what I mean? The white, look, instead of I did put the black salt. I put black salt and white pepper instead of white salt and black pepper. Mm-hmm. Right? That's what Doc taught us. He said you got to flip it upside down. Bro, I'm starting to eat it. I'm like, yo, this tastes like chili nachos. It tastes like nachos with the chili on it. And I'm like, oh, this is busting. And I was like, oh, the nachos is in effect. The raw nachos. And I'm like, oh, cool. I was like, now I even get my little nacho fix, and it's healing food. It's muscle building food. It's cleansing food. It's the fat busting food, because that pepper sauce got the lime and the lemon. That's the acid. And then habanero and that jalapeno is the heat. That right there is gonna bust up that bond for all of that for that fat starch molecule that's been bonded. That's what it's gonna break it up, so the body can go ahead and digest.
Now, one thing I want to throw at you is this one. What's your take on this one? Well, I'm not, yeah. What's your take? Because one thing that I noticed is that, and it's this one. This is usually for, people that are new to this approach, right? Of just not adding more raw foods to the diet. I try to tell them, like, just try to keep it simple at first. That way you can allow for this change within you to start to happen. Because I know it's been times where I created some great raw dishes that I know were
Yeah.
good. And then people just be like, I didn't like it. Like, stuff like that. But, it comes from the overstimulation from the other processed foods and, the fatty food, the salty foods and things like that. So for a person that's trying to implement some of these changes, it may take a second for their taste buds to dial down because a lot of people are overstimulated. You know what I'm saying? Because, if you're eating this and it's got salt in it and it's oil and it's sugar and everything you have got salt, oils, and sugars in it, your body's going to be on a heightened level to where the stimulation is just there. And, it's certain things are, no matter how great it was prepared, it's just not going to hit you the way that you might want it. And that's where, a lot of cleansing and fasting needs to take place. So if you're a person that has these perverted taste buds where it gotta be laced up with all the salt and it gotta be oiled or fried, if your taste buds are real perverted to the point where it's like you gotta do it nasty if I'm gonna eat it, like some people are out there like that. So like I'm a firm believer, like, fasting or juicing through the beginning stages to allow for those taste buds to dumb down some and to help get a person across that bridge. Like what's your take on that?
And I think what you're saying right there is real key because nothing gonna hit like some ribs. Like if you're trying to make a vegan version, it's gonna be an unhealthy version. You can't hit. You can't hit that. You can't hit that fried fish. Remember the fried fish with the white bread with the hot sauce on it? Like you ain't hitting that. You ain't gonna hit that. Like, and the feeling that give you, that itis. You know what I'm saying? Look, I gotta get real with it. You know what I'm saying? You know when you got the chicken bone, you pull it out like that.
You can't recreate that.
Yeah, you pull out that wing, you like that, like not the feeling that gives you. You're originally from Milwaukee. They eating cheese, sausage, Polishes. You know what I mean? They do big fish fries on Fridays. We got the rib. We got the Mississippi culture. The black folks there got the rib and the soul food. So this food, this live food, you know what I'm saying? This live food, this is not going to make you feel the same way. You got to give up that feeling.
Yeah.
It's a feeling of fullness.
Stimulation.
That feeling of fullness that's actually not a healthy feeling. That stuffed oil, meat, like heavy processed, that feeling when you got that sugar hit from the candy or the cookies or the cakes, like that hit when you get that, that right there, that crunchy, salty, you just went and burnt one, and now you got to go get them Takis in, you got to get the Doritos, you got to get the, you know what I'm saying? I'm speaking to the people. Yo, hit something on there to indicate you know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? In the chat or on the thing. You know what I mean? For the people that know, they like, yo, I know what he's talking about when it comes to the Doritos. I know what he's talking about when it comes to the tortilla chips. You know what I'm saying? It's to be able to say, yo, I'm gonna give that up.
Got it.
I gotta give up that feeling because that feeling really is gonna hurt my body. You know what I mean? And then because some people try to do like the healthy version. And instead, you know what I'm gonna do? Like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna do something healthy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm gonna just do something healthy and let that healthy thing taste great.
Yeah. You gotta let that. You gotta get away from trying to make something that's you typically have that's unhealthy into a healthier option. Like trying to veganize certain things. That ain't it.
Get you down the path of getting back into the salt, into the
right.
oil.
And
you can raw fry some stuff, but I love what Doc said. He said we not mimicking.
Right. Exactly.
I can't remember what word he used, but it was more like it's kind of like inspired by, or we're just kind of like, he says we're kind of like looking at. We said we're not, but we said no. This is a brand new thing. This is a brand new thing. That we're doing. So for me, it's fasting. A water fast, a dry fast, water fast, juice fast can go ahead and reset them taste buds and kick that out. There's an emotional piece where this food is tied to family. It can be tied to celebratory events like the birthday cakes, the wedding cakes, the Christmas cookies, the Valentine's Day stuff. So we can kind of associate with love. Other day, Kellen, I had a taste right around a few days before 4th of July for potato salad, for my grandma's potato salad. Now, where did that come from?
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
Granny for the cookouts would make big things of potato salad. That's programmed in my body around this time of year. And so it hit me, right? I got a hunkering for the potato salad, but really I'm hunkering for Granny's love. I won't be by my granny. I was raised by my mother and grandma, be by Granny. So I just call Granny up and I'm all right. You know? Because I ain't putting that potato salad in my mouth. Yeah. And the other thing I would say is the bitters. The bitters, if somebody is the bitter foods, like that bitter food, you know, and because we think about the sweet, we think about the fat, people think about the, you know what I mean, the umage, the savory, but that bitter taste, you know, you get the bitter, someone say the bitter herbs, but you can do the bitter foods as well, and that'll go ahead and kick and shock to get those taste buds reset.
Right, because that's a big part of it. Because one thing about it is that when a person is making dietary changes, if it don't taste good, they just simply not gonna stick with it. They're not gonna do it.
So that's why I tell people I was like, what do you like?
Yeah.
That's help. What do you like? That's helpful.
You gotta figure
and I'm like, okay, do this. You know, do that then. Like I eat fruit in the morning. Like I only would drink. I drink coconut water or fruit juice. Well, I drink water with lime in it. If I don't have coconut water, fruit juice, then I eat fruit. And that happens from 4 to 12. You know what I mean? And usually at 4 I ain't doing nothing, right? Yeah. Start really about 6, 7 o'clock. I'll start with the intake of the liquids and the fruit because they're cleansers. I had my homeboy, right? I'm talking to my client. I'm talking to him, and that's not gonna work for him. He told me he was eating 15,000 calories a day.
Nice.
So you know what I put him on? It was something I did when I was around. I was bigger. I put him on oatmeal in the morning. I said we're gonna do fruit and oatmeal.
I got it. Yeah.
And that's not proper on the food combining tip to put the fruit together with that starch, and it's a complex starch at that. But I know that this is gonna satiate him enough to be able to make it till the lunch, you know. And I asked him, I said, do you like oatmeal? He said, yeah, I like oatmeal. I said, yo, look, you could doctor it up. You want to put some nuts in it, some fruit, agave, honey, maple syrup, whatever, which I don't eat. I don't eat no syrups.
Like I said, you got to get them across to a certain pathway. Yeah.
When we get somebody off of McDonald's, you know what I'm saying, the hash browns, the whatever, you know what I mean? So we're going to go this way, yo, and it's working. And so that's what I would say is do what you like. I asked him, I said, what do you like? Like, you know, I want him to go plant-based. He's struggling with that. So I said, well, I said, what meats I said, well, here the meat. Let's start here, and then we're gonna level you up to plant-based so we can get you in a healing modality. So he's getting his stuff from Nando's right now. Nando's, you know, salad, whatever, chicken salad and everything that's not fried. That's a lot better than what he was doing. Right. You know, right. And what that's going to do is help his taste buds to get off of that oil and off of that salt. And then I told him in a week and a half, we're going to level him up. And we're going to cut some of that out. Right. His taste buds will have changed enough now. He loves the smoothies. Yeah. He says, I like the smoothies. I love them. Can I drink another smoothie? I said, yeah, drink another smoothie. You know what I mean? Have as much smoothie as you want. Like, do what you like. Why make yourself miserable, you know,
yeah. And
until you're ready. Until you're ready. Because I definitely have done some stuff to make myself miserable, to cleanse the system. But I wanted that. You know what I'm saying? Right. And until you get to that level of wanting
and that brings you to what I think is also important as well, is that you, as an individual, you have to understand your health spectrum. And basically, you have to understand where you lie at on the spectrum. You got healthy, best health that you've ever been in, and you got the worst health that you've ever been in.
Right.
Somewhere we fall in between somewhere.
Yeah.
So let's say if you're in the middle of the road between the best health that you've ever been in and the worst health. If you're in the middle of the road and you're looking to get better, all you have to do is make incremental changes in the right direction.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. You don't really have to flip the switch and destroy the whole kitchen and bring new stuff in. You don't necessarily have to do that, but
Some people
understand what
got
your
that in them,
health goals
but
are.
most don't.
Right.
Some people got that in them to flip that switch,
But
but
most don't.
vast majority of people don't have
Most don't. Exactly, because that one, you gotta if you got a family, you can't just do your family like that, right? Like, you know, it's,
right.
it's
Unless you're a beast. Unless you're a savage.
Exactly.
Just
So
throwing all the stuff, the kids screaming, "Not my honey bun!"
Yeah.
And you're like, "They going to the trash."
When you understand that spectrum, when you understand that spectrum that you're on and where your health goals lies in that spectrum, now you make the decisions that's going to allow you to improve to get there. So if your health goal is to get off the pharmaceutical medications, then clearly the changes that you need to make need to be greater in order to do so. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't start making small changes, but those small changes are going to have to add up to get there. But if you start making those bigger changes, you're going to get there a lot faster to allow for you to actually reach that goal. So understanding wherever you're at on your health journey, understand what your goals are. If your goal is to lose some weight and do this stuff, be specific about what you're doing, but every decision that you make regarding your lifestyle, it needs to be moving in the right direction. Because as soon as you do something that's backwards, you're taking a step back, and that's leading you back to where you don't want to be. So understanding that, you know, every decision that you make, everything that goes into your mouth, everything that you think about this journey that you're on, it's going to have an effect on you at some point, whether you know it or not. But locking in and challenging yourself to overcome these things is going to be really, really key. And that's where it's just, you got to be ready. And one thing I always say to people is this: if you're not ready, don't mess around, don't play with it, because the only thing you're going to do is you're gonna harm yourself. You're gonna deter yourself away from doing things that are beneficial. So if you're not ready, don't put one foot in the water and say, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna get in," but then you're not really ready to get in. Take your time. Like, don't rush it. Nobody's here to rush you. This is your life, your body. Take your time before you get into it, because you don't want to do something and then like it doesn't work out for you because you're not willing to commit to it, because now your chances of trying to do it again, they greatly diminish. Now you're getting away from a factor of healing that can be beneficial for you. So now, unfortunately, when it comes down to taking your time, you might fall victim to certain things or develop certain type of conditions and things like that. So I always tell people to act with a sense of urgency when it comes down to their overall health. But you should never do it if you're not ready. If the timing isn't right because of family issues or stress issues and work issues, try to do what you can, but don't dive into something that you're not ready for. Because one thing about it is, you will know when you're ready. Your body's going to say, yo, I can't do no more. And the main thing you need to do as an individual is make sure that you don't reach that point of no return to where your body can't heal itself and overcome those issues that you've allowed to manifest within there.
I'm thinking about 2 points. I'm trying to see, should I go in one direction or the other one. One of them is about the what happens when you keep on going back and forth, you know, and the other one is toxicity, and how some folks, you know, one of the things that deters them is when they start eating this live food, especially this fruit, because fruit is an electric cleanser. That what happens is that when that fruit starts working through that system, the toxins are being pulled out of that soft tissue. They go into the bloodstream, and then those toxins go on the brain. Yeah. And it causes headaches, it causes nausea, it causes people start saying, like, I feel crazy, I feel whatever, and realizing, just like what you're saying, going slow, especially if you've been very, very toxic, because people, you know, some folks want these quick results. I know I did. You know what I mean? Yeah. I was like, I want these real quick results, and so I would do a fast, but I would crash it, and that didn't work for me. I could lose the weight, but I would gain it right back, you know. because really the toxins in my system hadn't been purged. So I'm able to drop waste in the colon, what is it called? Water within the muscle tissue would go down. So that alone would be 15 pounds, you know. And then, but then what would happen is, so some of that people thinking, oh, I lost this weight because they get on the scale, not realizing, and I'll be losing muscle mass as well, you know, the way that I was doing it, the crash dieting, or even when I sometimes would do extended juice fast, because I wasn't doing it all the way that I know how to do it now. And because of the level of toxicity in the system, right? So I had to really learn that, because now I see some folks and they're like, okay, I want to be able to lose all of this in 8 months. And I'm like, no, like, no, you didn't put it on in 8 months.
Yeah.
I was like in a level of toxicity in the system that's, if you tried to rush it, you could actually damage yourself, because it's too many toxins in the bloodstream at one time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so that was one that kind of, like what you're talking about, going slow. And then there's some people that go too slow.
True.
I'm eating better, but you ain't getting better. Yeah. Like, so I always say it's levels to this, and we got to level up. So let's put a date on it. We're going to do it for this amount of time. That's right. And then we're going to check. Then we're going to level it up. Like I was saying, my homeboy right now eating oatmeal in the morning and Nando's. We're going to level that up, and we're going to cut back on some of that oatmeal so I can get a whole fruit thing. And then we're going to start reducing that meat intake until we can get them completely plant-based, so we can get in the healing mode. But we got to go up the level. If I kept him right where he's at, he needs to he's trying to heal, because we're not trying to get rid of symptoms. We want to see the body heal the disease. So we talking about his body healing arthritis, right? We talking about regrowing a meniscus. One of my friends regrew his meniscus, all right, on his healthy lifestyle. So that's what we're trying to do for him. That's what it's going to take. We got to level up. So, you know, it's a balance between, we can't go too hardcore on one side. We can't go too lackadaisical on the other side. Yeah, you feel me?
And that's what's real important, man. Just having that structure that's going to allow you to move at the pace that you're comfortable with. And again, that's the beauty of, like, the challenge that we originally were talking about. The 7-day fruit and salad challenge is just about taking the incremental steps and seeing how your body adjusts to these things. Because again, even though it's a 7-day challenge, the encouragement behind it is to continue doing this health promoting practice, because all you're simply doing is adding more fresh fruits, adding a large salad to your diet each and every day. And now you're just building on something, because you want to get in the habit of just adding these health promoting things to your lifestyle, because ultimately that's going to allow you to reach the goals that you're trying to obtain. So, you know, I highly encourage everyone, like, you know, if you're dealing with blood pressure issues and you're trying to learn how to eat more whole foods to help you overcome these issues, joining the 7-day fruit and salad challenge is going to allow you to be in an environment to where you can understand how these foods work, understand the minerals that are essential for managing your blood pressure, and understand the foods that you can consume that's going to allow for this to happen naturally. Because ultimately your goal is to improve your overall health. It's not just about your blood pressure. Blood pressure is just a lifestyle issue. When you improve your lifestyle, the blood pressure issue will go away. It's as simple as that. And that's for 95% of people. Now, you know, you got these secondary issues, these kidney issues and things like that are a little bit different that people have to deal with. But for the majority of people, when you improve your lifestyle, these blood pressure issues, they go away. And now it's all about managing your lifestyle. You want to manage your lifestyle through natural causes, not through pharmaceutical medications, because ultimately taking pills only treat symptoms, and they only control a number. They don't fix your health. They don't change the problem. They mask it. And eventually those issues will manifest into bigger chronic issues that will take more drugs to get control of and be harder to, you know, make lifestyle changes to deal with.
Yeah. Brother, man, I had a great talk with you, man. Always a pleasure, man.
Yeah, definitely, man. Hey,
I'm excited about the movement, because you got a movement going on here, man. a healing life movement, and it got to get to the people. You know what I'm saying? It got to get to the people because it's caught. A lot of it's caught, not taught when it comes to our families. And this is a blessing. I mean, I see your children, you know, and how blessed they are because of this commitment you've made. And I know a lot of your people that are joining you for this fruit and salad challenge, like their kids are going to see them.
Yeah.
Their family members are going to see them. Their mothers and fathers are going to see them. They're like, what you doing? You know? And but it's caught, not taught. They got to see you do it. And then they're going to be like, they might not even say nothing.
Yeah.
And they just be like, and next thing you know, they over there, they chewing down on the salad.
You know,
like,
you know how it is. You see somebody with a mango, you be like, man, let me get one of them, man.
Yeah, bro. I'll be putting it all day. I'll be eating right there. They be like, because you know, I work with kids. They be like, Mr. Joshua, let me get that. What kind of vegetable is that? What kind of fruit is that? And they look. I brought a watermelon one day. It was my watermelon. I eat like half a watermelon, right, at a time. So I'm eating my watermelon. I got a spoon and half of it. I'm just doing like, I'm eating like this. Mr. Joshua, can I get that? I want some. I mean, I ended up cutting the other slice, man. They took all my watermelon, man. Right. The kids, they tore it up, man.
That's right, man. Once you put it in front of them and you're consistent with it, man, they'll go for it. I ain't even got to tell my kids about nothing. They got a whole buffet, and you know, fresh fruits is all they consume throughout the day, man. Wow. And like you said, it's all about living food, man. Hey, Josh, I appreciate you being on, man. It's definitely a pleasure, man.
Oh man, you know, every time, man, anytime. All right, man. Peace. One.
Blessings. Got you. So back to you guys again, man. That was my brother Joshua, man. Good dude up in Baltimore, man. We've been connected for quite some time, and he has an amazing story, an amazing journey. And again, he's lost over 100 pounds just by making health-promoting changes and making lifestyle changes. No drugs, no nothing. Went from 300 plus pounds to about 180 pounds just by getting in alignment and allowing for his lifestyle to take control of his overall health. And you know, again, the Fruit and Salad Challenge begins Monday. The Fruit and Salad Challenge revolves around understanding the vitamins, the essential vitamins and minerals that are needed to regulate your overall blood pressure. For those of us that are dealing with blood pressure issues, the 7-day Fruit and Salad Challenge will help you understand those vitamins and minerals that are essential for regulating this process, while also understanding where you can get these minerals from. The potassium, the magnesium, the understanding the sodium, the calcium, and the zinc. All those things are critical for blood pressure health. And the best place to get them is from whole foods. The 7-day Fruit and Salad Challenge will allow you to structure, it'll provide you with a strategy to effectively structure your lifestyle to implement more whole foods into it. And now it's all about just showing up for yourself and building on this practice. Because again, when it comes down to managing and controlling blood pressure issues, it's not about what you can take, it's all about what you can do. And implementing health promoting practices by eating healthier foods is going to allow for you to correct those nutrient deficiencies that's fueling the blood pressure problem. And the 7-day Fruit and Salad Challenge, it comes with the ebook as well that gives you that critical breakdown of this process. It breaks it down to help you understand the vitamins and minerals, the foods that they're in, and the tactic of actually doing so. When you're making these lifestyle changes, it's all about taking the steps forward. Because one thing about blood pressure issues, there can be multiple triggers that's fueling this problem. But only until you turn over every stone in search of understanding this issue will you ultimately get to the root cause of it. And for some people, it's going to require that they break down their lifestyle to understand it. And the Fruit and Salad Challenge is one step of the way to help you get better control of it. So for those of us that are interested in joining the Fruit and Salad Challenge, feel free to click on, I don't know if but feel free to go on my page, and when you click on the link, you will see more information about the Fruit and Salad Challenge. It comes with the ebook as well that'll be automatically transmitted to you, so you can get the information that you need. And ultimately, when we get started with the challenge, which is starting on Monday, we'll go ahead and start holding ourselves accountable through this process. You get access to our free Facebook group. That way you can join the group, follow along, and be around a community a community of people that are all dealing with the same things. And one thing about it is when it comes down to dealing with lifestyle changes, it's all about having that support that you need, because when you're just trying to go at it yourself, it becomes a lot more difficult. But when you have a community of people with the same mindset that are practicing the same things and implementing the same strategies and talking about their obstacles, it becomes a lot easier and better, and a lot more easier to handle. And that's the environment that we're creating in the high blood pressure group that we have. So feel free to click on my page, go to my page. Click the links that are there. You'll see the 7-day fruit and salad challenge. I've been talking about it for the last, I want to say 8 days, 6 days or so. We start with the challenge on Monday, and pretty much I hope to see you guys in the community. I hope to see you guys in the challenge, and I plan on talking about this live in our community moving forward through the challenge. So sign up for the blood pressure community, join the challenge, and I look forward to breaking things down a little bit more further. If you guys have any more direct questions, feel free to DM me directly, and I'll be able to answer them right there. But with that being said, these babies been harassing me for the longest, so I need to go tend to them and give them some daddy love. So I'll see y'all later. Okay, peace.